My child, this is not a casual message. It is about your life, and if you feel me pulling on your heart right now, do not ignore it. I need you to listen closely, because what I am about to say is not random, and it is not something you can afford to hear halfway. Stay with me all the way to the end, because every part of this word is building toward a moment that will ask something real from you. Do not rush through this. Do not treat this like background noise. Let it reach you. Let it confront you. Let it uncover what you have been avoiding. Because before this message is over, I am going to show you what has been blocking your peace, why the door is open now, and what you must do next. If you leave too soon, you may miss the very word that was sent to change everything. My child, you need to understand that this moment is not small, even if it looks ordinary on the outside. You may feel like you simply clicked on another message, paused at another video, or found yourself here in the middle of a day that already feels full, heavy, and noisy. But I want you to hear me closely now, because I am not speaking to you through coincidence. I'm speaking to you through intention. I saw the exact moment your heart would be open enough to stop, even if only for a little while. I saw the weariness you have been carrying. I saw the thoughts you have not said out loud. I saw the way you have kept moving through your days while something inside you has quietly been asking deeper questions. That is why I brought you here. This is not just another passing word in front of your eyes. This is me reaching into your day because your life matters too much for me to stay silent while you keep carrying what is slowly draining you. You have been functioning, yes. You have been showing up, yes. You have been doing what needed to be done. But I know that inside, something has been unsettled. I know you have felt moments when the noise around you fades for just a second, and in that small gap, you can feel the truth that something in your life needs attention. Maybe you could not explain it. Maybe you tried to ignore it. Maybe you told yourself you were just tired, just emotional, just overwhelmed, just needing a little rest. But I know the difference between simple tiredness and a soul that is quietly asking to be heard. I know the difference between ordinary stress and the kind of inner pressure that comes when you have been carrying too much without bringing it to me. I know how easy it has been for you to keep going because that feels safer than stopping. If you stop, you might have to feel what you have buried. If you slow down, you might have to face what had been hurting beneath the surface. If you become still, you might hear truths that are harder to avoid. And yet, my child, that is exactly why I am speaking now. Not to overwhelm you, but to gently bring you into the place where healing can actually begin. You have spent so much energy managing the outside of your life that the inside of your life hath been left waiting. I am not saying this to accuse you. I am saying it because I love you enough to tell you the truth. You have given your attention to many things. You have responded to people, deadlines, expectations, responsibilities, disappointments, and fears. You have learned how to move through pressure. You have learned how to carry yourself when no one notices how heavy things feel. You have learned how to look composed even when your thoughts are tired and your heart is not as steady as people assume. But I did not create you merely to survive your days. I did not create you to live in a constant state of quiet depletion while telling yourself you are fine because you can still function. I created you for peace. I created you for truth. I created you for a life that is rooted in me, not a life built on constant internal strain. That is why this moment matters. I am interrupting you because I love you. I am calling you because I see you. I am drawing your attention here because there are things in your life you cannot keep postponing without cost. You may think you still have plenty of time to deal with what is going on inside you. You may think you can return to it later, when life is calmer, when your mind is clearer, when your responsibilities lighten. But you and I both know that later has become a habit. Later has become the place where you keep putting the parts of yourself that need care, honesty, and surrender. Later has become the quiet excuse that keeps you from real transformation. So I am speaking now, in this moment, not because I want to pressure you, but because I want to rescue you from the cycle of delay that has been keeping you emotionally exhausted and spiritually distant. You do not need to be afraid of this interruption. You do not need to wonder if I am here to shame you. I am not. I am here because I want your attention before the numbness settles in deeper. I am here because I want to reach you before your pain becomes so familiar that you stop recognizing it as pain. I am here because I know what you have been trying to carry alone, and I know that if you keep calling that strength, it will keep wearing down parts of you that I never meant to live under such pressure. This moment is holy not because it is loud, but because I am in it. This moment is sacred not because it looks dramatic, but because I am using it to touch your life where you have been most hidden. I am not far from you right now. I am closer than your thoughts. I am closer than the tension in your chest. I am closer than the worries that have been circling your mind. And before you move on, before you tell yourself this is just another message, before you brush past the stirring in your heart, I want you to know this with certainty. I brought you here because I love you, and I will not casually watch you drift past a moment that could begin to change your life. You have asked for clarity in more ways than you realize, and I have heard every one of those unspoken prayers. Some of them did not sound like prayers at all. Some sounded like exhaustion. Some sounded like frustration. Some sounded like quiet confusion in the middle of the night when you could not understand why everything felt heavier than it should. Some sounded like you staring into your own life and wondering why, even when certain things are still working on the outside, something deeper feels off. I heard all of that. I heard the questions you never formed into neat words. I heard the thoughts you pushed away because they felt inconvenient. I heard the ache beneath your busyness. That is why I am speaking now with tenderness, but also with seriousness. Because your life is not something I take lightly. Your days are not random to me. Your inner world is not invisible to me. I know how much effort you have been using just to stay steady. I know how many things you have been trying to hold together. I know how many times you have told yourself you will deal with what is inside later, after one more task, one more week, one more problem, one more season. But if you are honest, you know that the inside of your life has been asking for more than a future appointment. It has been asking for your attention now. That is why I need you to listen without rushing past this. I am not asking you to become dramatic. I am not asking you to suddenly understand everything all at once. I am not asking you to force an emotional reaction just to prove that you care. What I am asking from you is far simpler and far deeper. I'm asking you to stop resisting the truth that something in you needs to open. I am asking you to stop calling distance normal. I am asking you to stop treating your hidden exhaustion as if it is just part of being strong. I am asking you to stop assuming that because you have endured, you must therefore be healthy. You have been so accustomed to carrying pressure that you have begun to confuse endurance with peace. But they are not the same. You can endure while still slowly hardening inside. You can keep going while still becoming more disconnected from your own heart. You can manage responsibilities while still losing touch with the tenderness, honesty, and inner steadiness I want for you. That is why I'm meeting you here. I want to bring you back before you move any further into a version of life that looks functional but feels empty underneath. I want to call you back before your spirit becomes so tired that you start settling for survival and call it maturity. I want to remind you that I am not impressed by the way you hide your pain. I am moved by the truth of your heart. I am not waiting for a cleaner, stronger, more composed version of you before I speak. I am speaking to you as you are. To the you who is tired of pretending. To the you who has been carrying questions. To the you who has felt restless and could not fully explain why. To the you who has wondered if I still see you, still hear you, still care about the details of your life. I do. I always have. And because I do, I am not content to let this moment pass as if it means nothing. If you feel something in your chest while reading this, if there is a quiet seriousness settling over you, if part of you feels exposed and comforted at the same time, that is not accidental. That is what happens when truth reaches a place that has been waiting for it. That is what happens when my voice touches the part of you that has been overlooked by everyone else, and maybe even by you. So do not rush away from this point. Do not turn this into a passing emotional moment that fades the second the noise returns. Let it land. Let it be real. Let yourself admit that you need more than momentum. Let yourself admit that your life cannot keep being built on strain, avoidance, and delayed honesty. Let yourself admit that I am speaking because I want to bring you into something better than what you have been calling normal. This first moment, this first point, is not about pressure. It is about recognition. It is about you realizing that I have interrupted your path on purpose. It is about you understanding that I have not abandoned you to your habits, your distractions, your private battles, or your emotional fatigue. It is about you seeing that I am still involved, still near, still attentive, still willing to reach directly into your life when it matters most. And it does matter now, more than you know. Because when you finally recognize that I am the one calling, you stop treating this like content and start receiving it like care. You stop brushing it off as another message and start understanding that I am using this moment as a doorway. And if you are willing to stay with me, if you are willing to keep listening, if you are willing to let your heart remain open instead of retreating back into self-protection, then what begins here will not stay here. It will move deeper. It will touch the places you have avoided. It will bring light into the parts of your life that have been quietly asking for truth. And that, my child, is why I needed you to stop. That is why I needed you to notice. That is why I needed this divine interruption to reach you now. My child, come closer now and stay with me, because I want to speak to the quiet places in you that have been asking for help even when your mouth said nothing. You have been asking for a sign in more ways than you realize. Sometimes you did it in prayer. Yes. Sometimes you whispered in the dark, or looked up when no one was around, or sighed in the middle of a long day and wondered whether I still saw what was happening inside you. But many times, the sign you were asking for did not sound religious at all. It sounded like exhaustion. It sounded like frustration. It sounded like you staring at your own life and thinking, something has to change. It sounded like the ache you felt after another day of functioning without feeling full. It sounded like the heaviness in your chest when you realized that even after getting through everything on your list, peace still felt far away. I heard all of that. I heard the questions hidden inside your fatigue. I heard the longing hidden inside your numbness. I heard the hope hidden inside the part of you that still kept checking, still kept searching, still kept pausing when something in your spirit stirred. Do not dismiss that. Do not reduce it. Do not call it random curiosity. You have been reaching for me more than you admit, even in the moments when you felt too disconnected to pray clearly. That is why I brought you here. This is not a lucky scroll. This is not accidental timing. This is not just another message that happened to cross your path. This is an answer wrapped in what looked ordinary. This is my hand in the middle of what felt casual. This is me stepping into the exact place where your hidden question hath been living. You have asked, do you still see me? I do. You have asked, am I too far gone to turn this around? You are not. You have asked, is there still time? There is. You have asked, why does everything feel off even when I am trying? Because your soul is asking for more than maintenance. You have asked, why can't I shake this feeling that something deeper needs attention? Because I am not allowing your spirit to fully settle into substitutes. I love you too much to let the hunger disappear. I love you too much to let you become comfortable in a life that looks manageable but feels disconnected from what truly sustains you. That restlessness you have felt is not just anxiety. Some of it has been holy discomfort. Some of it has been the internal knock on the door. Some of it has been my spirit refusing to let you fully fall asleep in places where you still need awakening. Listen carefully now. The fact that you are here matters. The fact that you stayed this long matters. The fact that something in you keeps leaning in matters. That is not nothing. That is not trivial. That is not you being overly emotional. That is your heart recognizing that I am near. So receive this without arguing. Receive this without immediately analyzing it into something smaller. Let yourself admit it. Say it if you need to. I have been asking for a sign, and God is answering me now. Let that sentence settle into your bones. Let it become more than a thought. Let it become a moment of recognition. Because once you recognize that I am answering, you stop wandering through your own life like everything is coincidence. You begin to see that I have been responding more than you realized. You begin to notice that the very places you called random were often the places where I was trying to get your attention. You begin to understand that the ache itself was not only pain, it was also invitation. You begin to realize that even your frustration has been part of the conversation. That matters, my child. That changes how you listen. That changes how you respond. That changes how you move forward from this point. I want you to think about the ways you have been looking for confirmation without calling it that. Think about the moments when you opened something and immediately felt that strange weight in your chest, like it was somehow aimed directly at you. Think about the times when a sentence followed you all day, even though you tried to move on. Think about the quiet moments when a memory surfaced at just the right time. Think about the unexpected pauses in your routine that felt more charged than they should have. Think about the discomfort that rose whenever you tried to return to certain habits, certain distractions, certain patterns that used to numb you more easily. Those were not meaningless. Those were not empty moments. Those were signals. Those were taps on the shoulder. Those were invitations wrapped in ordinary life. And because you have lived under so much noise, you have often talked yourself out of honoring them. You have said, maybe I am just tired. You have said, maybe I am reading too much into this. You have said, maybe it's just a coincidence. But my child, there comes a point when too many precise moments are no longer coincidence. There comes a point when the repeated stirring in your heart deserves more respect than your skepticism has been willing to give it. I am not asking you to become superstitious. I am asking you to become attentive. There is a difference. I am not telling you to turn every passing thought into prophecy. I am telling you to stop ignoring the moments where your spirit clearly knows I am near. Pay attention. Slow down. Stop brushing past the places where your inner life becomes suddenly awake. Those moments are often the place where I am speaking clearest. And right now, I want you to do something simple and very real. Stop reading for a second in your own heart, even if your eyes keep moving. Pause internally. Ask me this, Father, what have you already been showing me that I keep calling coincidence? Ask that honestly. Then let the answer rise. Do not rush it. You may immediately think of a pattern. You may remember a moment. You may feel a conviction. You may realize that I have been highlighting the same area of your life again and again, but you kept postponing the response because it felt easier to delay than to change. That is part of why this section matters. I am not only comforting you by telling you I heard your cry, I am also teaching you how to recognize my answer. Because some of you have been asking for a sign while walking past the very signs I have already placed in front of you. You keep waiting for something louder, but I have already been speaking in ways your heart has recognized if you are honest. This moment is not only proof that I hear you, it is also training. I am teaching you how to listen better. I am teaching you how to notice the weight of my presence when it enters an ordinary moment. I am teaching you how to trust the holy discomfort that rises when something in your life needs response. I am teaching you that your longing has not been ignored. It has been met. And now I need you to stop treating your own spiritual hunger like background noise. Stop muting it. Stop dismissing it. Stop burying it under busyness. If your soul is asking for me, honor that request. If your heart is stirred, follow the stirring. If you feel convicted, do not delay. If something keeps returning, sit with it. If a truth keeps pressing on you, respond to it. This is how you grow in discernment. This is how you stop living at the mercy of distraction. This is how you stop asking for signs with one hand while pushing them away with the other. And my child, let me take you even deeper here, because this is not only about signs in the external sense. It is also about the internal language I have been using with you. Some of the clearest signs I have sent have not come through events at all. They have come through the changes in what you can and cannot tolerate anymore. That matters more than you realize. There are things that once satisfied you that now leave you feeling hollow. There are habits that once distracted you that now make you feel restless. There are conversations that once entertained you that now leave a strange heaviness behind. There are patterns that once felt normal that now feel out of alignment in a way you cannot ignore. A shift is a sign. Pay attention to it. Do not keep trying to force yourself back into places your spirit has outgrown. Do not keep pretending comfort is still there when conviction has already entered the room. That inner tension is not punishment. It is direction. It is my way of showing you that something in you is waking up and no longer fits inside the old pattern. It is a beautiful thing, even when it feels uncomfortable. Growth often feels like friction before it feels like freedom. Maturity often feels like discomfort before it feels like peace. So when you notice that certain things no longer sit right, do not interpret that as confusion. Interpret it as a sign that your soul is becoming more aware. When you find yourself unable to enjoy what once numbed you, do not rush to recreate the old comfort. Ask why I am making it uncomfortable. When you feel a strange resistance toward the very things that used to keep you distracted, do not assume something is wrong with you. Something may actually be healing in you. Something may be rising. Something may be becoming too alive to keep living under the old arrangement. That is why I want you to stop fearing the discomfort of transition. Sit with it. Let it teach you. Let it show you where I am drawing you out. This is not only about looking for signs in the sky. It is about noticing the signs in your own spirit. The shift in your appetite. The shift in your tolerance. The shift in your inner peace. The shift in what leaves you empty and what suddenly draws tears. The shift in what you can no longer ignore. These are sacred clues. These are part of how I guide you. These are not random mood swings. These are often the fingerprints of transformation beginning before your mind has fully caught up. So welcome the shift. Do not resist it. Stop trying to return to the old ways of coping just because they feel familiar. Familiar is not always safe. Familiar is not always healthy. Familiar is not always aligned. Let me lead you forward instead of dragging yourself backward toward what your spirit already knows cannot sustain you anymore. So here is what I want you to do now, and I want you to do it with intention before you move on to the next point. First, acknowledge out loud or in your heart that you have been asking for a sign. Do not pretend you have not. Be honest. Say, Father, I have been asking, even when I did not know how to say it. That honesty matters. Then ask me one direct question. What are you confirming for me right now? Make it simple. Make it sincere. And then be willing to receive what rises. Maybe it is confirmation that I am near. Maybe it is confirmation that the thing you keep avoiding needs your response. Maybe it is confirmation that your restlessness is not meaningless. Maybe it is confirmation that you are not too late. Maybe it is confirmation that a certain door stayed closed for your protection. Maybe it is confirmation that your soul hath been starving for deeper honesty. Whatever it is, do not argue with it immediately. Receive it first. Hold it. Sit with it. Write it down if you need to. Then do one more thing. Review the last few weeks of your life with new eyes. Look back at the moments that felt unusually weighty. Look back at the pauses, the discomforts, the repeated themes, the sentences that stayed with you, the things that kept surfacing. Ask me to help you see where I have already been speaking. This is how you begin to build trust in my guidance. This is how you stop living disconnected from the way I move in your daily life. And finally, respond to the sign. Do not just admire it. Do not just say, that was meaningful. Woo with it. If I am confirming something, act accordingly. If I am letting a habit, address it. If I am drawing you into prayer, pray. If I am asking for surrender, surrender. If I am inviting you to stillness, become still. If I am calling you away from something, step back from it. Let the sign become a step, not just a sentiment. Because I am not trying to press you with timing. I am trying to lead you into transformation. And that, my child, is why I wanted you to know this so clearly. You have been asking for a sign in more ways than you realize, and I have been answering you in more ways than you have noticed. But now you are learning to see. Now you are learning to listen. Now you are learning to recognize my nearness when it brushes against your ordinary day. Keep that openness. Keep that humility. Keep that willingness. Because the more you honor the ways I answer, the more clearly you will begin to hear me in the days ahead. My child, I need you to let this point reach you deeply, because some of the pain you have been carrying is not only from what has happened to you. Some of it is from the way you have been trying to survive it. You cannot keep living on surface-level strength. You cannot keep building your days on adrenaline, obligation, image management, emotional suppression, and the fragile kind of strength that only works as long as nobody asks too much more from you. I know why you learned to live this way. I know how it happened. Life pressed you. Disappointment shaped you. Responsibilities piled up. People leaned on you. Certain seasons forced you to become the one who kept going. So you adapted. You learned how to function while hurting. You learned how to speak calmly while feeling stretched thin inside. You learned how to show up while quietly running on fumes. You learned how to push through because stopping felt dangerous, because slowing down felt vulnerable, because honesty felt inconvenient, because rest felt like weakness, because if you paused too long, you were afraid of what might rise to the surface. I understand that. I do not shame you for how you survived. But I love you too much to let survival become your permanent way of living. I love you too much to let you call surface-level strength maturity when it is actually a mask that has been cracking under pressure for longer than you want to admit. Listen to me carefully now. Surface-level strength is the kind that looks stable until one more demand arrives. It is the kind that can smile in public and collapse in private. It is the kind that keeps a schedule but loses peace. It is the kind that performs responsibility while the inner life slowly dries out. It is the kind that says, "I'm okay," because saying anything else feels like too much work. It is the kind that keeps you moving but not necessarily healing. It is the kind that can impress people and still leave you empty when the room gets quiet. My child, that is not the life I made you for. I did not create you to become a polished shell with a starving soul. I did not design you to be outwardly dependable while inwardly depleted. I did not call you to carry your whole life with clenched hands and then wonder why your heart feels tight all the time. There is a deeper strength available to you, but you cannot access it while pretending the shallow version is enough. This is why I am speaking to you so directly here. Stop performing resilience. Stop confusing numbness with peace. Stop calling emotional shutdown discipline. Stop treating constant tension like a normal baseline. Be honest. Your inner life has been asking for more. Your spirit hath been asking for deeper roots. Your body hath been telling you. Your mind has been telling you. Your reactions have been telling you. Your fatigue has been telling you. The fact that small things now hit harder than they used to is telling you. The fact that your patience runs thinner than before is telling you. The fact that you can finish a whole day and still feel empty is telling you. These are not failures. These are signals. They are signs that surface-level strength has reached its limit. That is not the end of you. That is the beginning of a better way. So do not panic when the shallow strength starts to crack. Let it crack. Let it show you what cannot keep holding your life. Let it teach you where you need me more deeply than you have allowed yourself to admit. You have spent a long time being stronger than people knew, but you have also spent a long time being weaker in private than you wanted to admit. That contrast has worn you down. It has created a split inside you. On one side, there is the version of you that knows how to function, respond, organize, reassure, and carry on. On the other side, there is the part of you that feels tired, unseen, undernourished, and emotionally thin. And because those two sides have been living so far apart, you have begun to feel like your own life is divided. You know how to keep the outer structure going, but the inner structure has been asking for attention. You know how to answer what is urgent, but you have not always known how to care for what is essential. You know how to get through a day, but you have not always known how to restore your soul at the level where peace actually grows. That is why I need you to stop admiring your own endurance as if endurance alone is the goal. Endurance has a place, yes. It matters. It has carried you through real seasons. But endurance, without renewal, becomes erosion. It can keep you standing while slowly wearing away the deeper parts of you. I want more for you than that. I want rooted strength, not rushed strength. I want interior steadiness, not image-based control. I want a life where your private world and your public world are not strangers to each other. I want the version of you that people see and the version of you I see in the quiet to become more integrated, more honest, more nourished, more whole. That will not happen by accident. It will not happen because you simply keep trying harder. It will not happen because you become more efficient. It will happen when you stop living only from the surface. It will happen when you let me take you deeper. Come down from the surface, my child. Stop skimming your own soul. Stop living only where the tasks are. Stop measuring health by productivity. Stop using usefulness as proof that you are okay. There is more to you than what you accomplish. There is more to your life than what you manage. There is more to strength than how much you can carry without breaking visibly. Let me ask you something plainly. When was the last time you felt truly rested in your spirit, not just temporarily distracted? When was the last time you sat with me without rushing? When was the last time you let yourself tell the truth about how you really are? When was the last time you gave your inner life more than leftover scraps? When was the last time you chose stillness before collapse forced it on you? Sit with those questions. Do not dodge them. Do not answer them with what you wish were true. Let the truth rise. Because once you see how long you have been living on the surface, you can finally stop expecting the surface to sustain what only depth can carry. This is not a rebuke to crush you. This is a loving interruption meant to bring you home to a deeper way of living. And I want to tell you what deeper strength actually looks like, because if I do not name it, you may keep reaching for the wrong thing. Deeper strength is not louder. It is steadier. It is not built on appearance. It is built on alignment. It is not maintained by pressure. It is grown through connection. It is the kind of strength that can tell the truth without collapsing. It is the kind of strength that knows when to rest before resentment forms. It is the kind of strength that can say no without drowning in guilt. It is the kind of strength that can sit in stillness without panicking. It is the kind of strength that does not need constant distraction to feel okay. It is the kind of strength that can feel deeply and remain anchored. It is the kind of strength that lets you be fully human without becoming spiritually unmoored. That is what I want to build in you. But to build it, you must stop clinging to the shallow version that has become familiar. You must stop believing that if you slow down, everything will fall apart. Some things may need to be rearranged, yes. Some patterns may need to be challenged. Some habits may need to end. Some expectations may need to be restructured. Some relationships may need healthier boundaries. Some rhythms may need to be rebuilt. But that is not collapse. That is correction. That is not losing your life. That is learning how to carry it differently. And I know part of you is afraid of what will happen if you stop relying on the old pattern. You worry that people will be disappointed. You worry that things will be left undone. You worry that you will feel too much. You worry that if you stop numbing and pushing, the deeper pain will surface. My child, hear me gently but firmly. The deeper pain is already affecting you. Ignoring it has not neutralized it. It has only hidden it. And hidden pain still shapes reactions, relationships, choices, energy, and peace. That is why I am asking you to let me take you lower, beneath the performance, beneath the pressure, beneath the endless inner management. Bring me the real version of your strength, the tired one, the trembling one, the honest one, the one that does not know how much longer it can keep pretending that the current rhythm is sustainable. That is the version I can build from. That is the version I can restore. That is the version I can anchor. I do not need the polished version. I need the true one. Invite me there. Sit with me there. Let me meet you below the surface. That is where the roots begin. So here is what I want you to do now. And I want you to do it with courage, because this point will not help you if it stays theoretical. First, identify the ways you have been living on surface-level strength. Be concrete. Are you overcommitting because saying no feels harder than staying exhausted? Are you distracting yourself every time silence gets uncomfortable? Are you telling everyone you are fine when you know you are running thin? Are you using productivity to avoid pain? Are you relying on caffeine, constant input, constant activity, or emotional shutdown just to keep functioning? Are you treating prayer like a quick emergency line instead of a place of real dwelling? Are you giving your soul the leftovers after everyone else has taken the best of your attention? Name it. Bring it into the light. Then choose one deepening action today. 10. 1. Sit with me in silence for 15 honest minutes without reaching for your phone. Cancel one thing that is draining you unnecessarily. Speak the truth to someone safe. Turn off the noise earlier tonight. Journal what is actually happening in your heart. Take a walk and talk to me without rushing. Set one boundary you know you need. Make one choice that honors depth over image. Do it before the day ends. Let this be practical. Let this be embodied. Let this become a real turning point in the way you carry your life. And as you do, remember this. You are not being asked to become weaker. You are being invited into a stronger kind of strength. You are not being asked to abandon responsibility. You are being taught how to hold responsibility without sacrificing your soul. You are not being asked to become dramatic. You are being asked to become honest. You are not being asked to stop showing up. You are being shown how to show up from a deeper place. That is the invitation. That is the command wrapped in love. Stop living only on the surface. Come deeper. Come lower. Come where the roots grow. Come where my presence can reach more than your performance. Come where your real life can be strengthened instead of just maintained. Because if you keep trying to build your future on surface level strength, it will keep demanding more than that level can sustain. But if you let me deepen you now, if you let me teach you how to live from a rooted center instead of a rushed exterior, then what has been exhausting you will begin to lose its grip, and what has been fragile in you will begin to grow into the kind of strength that does not crack the moment one more weight is added. That is what I want for you. That is what I am calling you into. And that is why I am not letting you keep mistaking shallow survival for the life I have always meant for you. My child, as you step away from the surface and begin to live from deeper roots, I am also calling you to help carry this deeper message to others who are still drowning in shallow strength. There are weary souls searching in the dark right now, and every act of support you give becomes like oil poured into a lamp, allowing my light to travel farther than this single moment. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are planting seeds in fields of hearts I am already preparing. Did I not say those who sow generously will also reap generously? I speak that promise over you now. What you release for my work will not return empty, but will rise like a harvest in your life, in ways you cannot yet measure. If your spirit has been stirred by this message, that stirring is not accidental. It is my invitation. Let your generosity become part of the river that carries my word to those who have been surviving on the surface for far too long. So act now, my child. Support this mission through super thanks. Join the membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description, and let your seed become light for many souls. My child, I want you to slow down and receive this deeply, because one of the heaviest burdens you have been carrying is the belief that every closed door meant loss, every delay meant neglect, and every disappointment meant I was absent. That belief has hurt you more than you realize. It has made you suspicious of my timing. It has made you question my care. It has made you look at parts of your life with grief, frustration, and confusion, while missing the quiet mercy that was standing right in the middle of those moments. So I need you to listen now with an open heart. I have been protecting you in ways you never fully saw. I have been guarding your future in places where you thought I was only withholding from your present. I have been closing certain doors with the same love I use to open the right ones. I have been standing between you and outcomes that look beautiful from a distance, but would have bruised you deeply up close. I know you still think about some of those moments. I know you still revisit the opportunities that slipped away, the relationships that changed, the conversations that never became what you hoped, the plans that seemed so promising until they suddenly fell apart. I know there are places in your story where you still feel the sting. I know there are names you still remember, paths you still imagine, and versions of your life you still quietly compare against what is in front of you now. And because of that, you have sometimes assumed that I was silent, late, or indifferent. But my child, I was there. I was more present than you do. I was working in the hidden space between what you desired and what I allowed. I was protecting what you could not yet see. There were things behind those doors that you were not prepared to carry. There were hidden costs behind certain yeses that would have slowly drained the life from you. There were attachments that felt comforting but would have become chains. There were opportunities that looked like answers but were shaped by timing that would have fractured your peace later. There were people you wanted close who would have stayed close only long enough to shape your future in ways that would have led you further from the life I am still building in you. I need you to hear this without resisting it. Not every heartbreak was only heartbreak. Some of it was rescue. Not every disappointment was only disappointment. Some of it was redirection. Not every unanswered prayer was rejection. Some of it was my hand refusing to let you build your future on something that could not carry the weight of who you are becoming. That is not easy to hear when you are still grieving what might have been. I know that. I know some of those moments hurt with a deep ache because they were wrapped in real hope. I know you were sincere. I know you wanted those things. I know you asked me with a genuine heart. But sincerity does not always mean readiness. Desire does not always mean alignment. Wanting something deeply does not always mean it is safe, timely, or able to sustain what your life will one day require. That is why I had to intervene in places you still do not fully understand. That is why some things stalled, some things broke, some things moved away, and some things never became what you expected. It was not because I did not care. It was because I cared too much to let you be permanently shaped by what only looked right in one season. So I want you to stop calling every closed door a wound. Some of them were shields. Some of them were shelter. Some of them were mercy wearing the face of disappointment. Let that truth begin to untangle the story you have been telling yourself. Let it soften the resentment that has formed in places where trust should still have room to grow. Come with me here. Revisit those memories, not to reopen pain for pain's sake, but to allow me to reframe what you thought was only loss. I want to heal your interpretation, not just your emotion. Because if your interpretation stays wounded, your trust will keep limping into the future even after the tears dry. You have often judged my protection by how it felt in the moment instead of by what it preserved over time. That is understandable. You are human. Pain is loud when it first arrives. Delay feels personal when you are standing inside it. Silence feels sharp when you are asking for an answer and the answer does not come the way you hoped. But my child, your first emotional reading of a moment is not always the truest reading of that moment. What feels like loss in one chapter can later reveal itself as a lifeline. What feels like confusion can later become clarity. What feels like being held back can later prove to be the exact thing that kept you from stepping into damage you were too close to recognize. That is why I need you to become slower in how you interpret what I allow and what I prevent. Do not rush to call it abandonment when you do not yet see the whole picture. Do not rush to call it punishment when what you are experiencing may actually be protection. Sit with me before you decide what a closed door means. Ask me before you label a delay as cruelty. Invite me into your questions instead of assuming the worst in the silence. That is a form of trust you are still learning, and I am patient while you learn it. But I am also calling you higher. I want you to stop letting your disappointment become the only lens through which you view your past. There is more in the story than what hurt. There is more in the memory than what ended. There is more in the delay than what you did not receive. There is also what I prevented. There is also what I preserved. There is also what I kept from attaching itself to you. There is also what I shielded you from behind the scenes. And yes, some of that will remain unseen until much later. Some of it you may never fully understand this side of eternity. But you do not need total explanation in order to begin trusting my heart again. You only need to accept that your limited view was not the whole truth. Let that humble you in the best way. Let it soften the certainty with which you have sometimes accused me in your pain. Let it open space for reverence. Let it make room for the possibility that I was more faithful than your disappointment allowed you to see. Think back now, and do not be afraid to go there. Think of the relationship you thought you needed, the opportunity you thought would solve everything, the place you thought you had to reach, the path you thought would make your life complete. Look at what you know now. Look at what eventually surfaced. Look at what you later realized. Look at how certain things would have crushed you if they had come too soon. Look at how certain people revealed parts of themselves only after they left. Look at how certain paths that looked bright from a distance were actually brittle up close. You see. You do see some of it now. You may not see all of it, but you see enough to begin. So begin. Begin thanking me, even if imperfectly, for the protections you once resented. Begin releasing your demand to understand every prevented outcome before you trust me again. Begin surrendering the false belief that if something hurt, it must therefore have been proof that I failed you. Pain is not always proof of my absence. Sometimes pain is what rescue feels like when you wanted the thing that would have harmed you. Sometimes the hand that saves you first feels like the hand that interrupted your plan. That is hard, but it is true. And I want you to mature into that truth, because your peace depends on it more than you know. Now let me take this even deeper, because my protection has not only been about the dramatic moments you can clearly remember. It has also been in the smaller places, the quiet places, the ordinary places where you did not realize I was standing guard. I have protected you from words that never reached you. I have protected you from plans other people had for you that would have entangled you. I have protected you from timing that would have looked exciting but left you spiritually exposed. I have protected you from opportunities that would have inflated your ego before your character was ready to carry them. I have protected you from choices you almost made in moments of emotional hunger. I have protected you from your own impatience more times than you know. I have protected you from certain attachments that would have become dependencies. I have protected you from your own desperation in seasons when you were tempted to settle just to avoid the ache of waiting. You did not always know I was doing it. Sometimes you thought the interruption was bad luck. Sometimes you thought the obstacle was the enemy. Sometimes you thought the resistance meant you should force your way through harder. But I was there, placing holy friction in front of paths that were not meant for you. I was there, making what looked smooth suddenly feel difficult because your future needed that resistance. I was there, turning your unease into a warning. I was there, letting things stall because I loved you too much to let momentum become your master. This is why I want you to start respecting the friction in your life differently. Not every obstacle is opposition. Not every resistance is proof you should push harder. Sometimes the friction is my mercy. Sometimes the discomfort is my guidance. Sometimes the stall is my shelter. Ask me before you force your way through. Ask me before you chase what keeps slipping away. Ask me before you interpret every difficulty as something to conquer. Some things are not meant to be conquered. Some things are meant to be released. Some things are not delays to outwork. Some things are warnings to heed. That is part of how you grow. That is part of how your discernment matures. I am not saying you should become passive. I am saying you should become prayerful. I am not telling you to fear every challenge. I am telling you to stop assuming every challenge means keep pushing. Sit with me first. Ask for clarity. Ask for peace. Ask for wisdom. Ask whether the resistance is shaping you or shielding you. Ask whether the closed door is a test of faith or an act of protection. Ask whether the discomfort is an invitation to persevere or a signal to let go. That is a deeper way of walking with me, and I want that for you. I do not want you to keep living at the mercy of urgency, emotion, and momentum. I want you to live with discernment. I want you to stop calling everything that slows you down a problem. Sometimes the slowdown is grace. Sometimes the stop is sacred. Sometimes the not yet is the kindest word I can give you in that season. So here is what I want you to do with this point, and I want you to do it sincerely because it will free more in you than you expect. First, choose one disappointment from your past that still carries emotional weight. Not the biggest one if that feels too overwhelming. Choose one. Bring it before me. Tell me exactly how you interpreted it. Tell me what story you attached to it. Tell me whether you believed I abandoned you, overlooked you, rejected you, or failed to come through. Speak it plainly. Then ask me a different question than you usually ask. Instead of asking, "Why did you let this happen?" ask, "Father, what were you protecting me from?" That question may open something in you. It may not give you every detail, but it can begin to shift the posture of your heart from accusation to curiosity, from resentment to trust. And do one more thing. Thank me for one protection you can now see, even if you did not understand it at the time. Be specific. Thank you for closing that door. Thank you for ending that connection. Thank you for delaying that opportunity. Thank you for not giving me what I begged for when I was not ready. The kind of gratitude is powerful. It heals your memory. It teaches your heart to reinterpret the past through trust instead of pain alone. And finally, make a new agreement with me. Stop forcing what keeps resisting without peace. Stop chasing what keeps draining you. Stop idolizing what keeps slipping away. Bring it to me first. Lay it down. Say, "If this is for me, you will make the way clear. If it is not, give me the courage to release it." That is wisdom. That is surrender. That is how you stop turning your life into a tug of war with doors I have already closed. My child, I have been protecting you in ways you never fully saw. Some of that protection came through delay, some through deception, some through discomfort, some through endings, some through silence, some through holy restraint. But it was still love. It was still my hand. It was still me standing between you and what would have cost you more than you understood at the time. So let this point heal your trust. Let it repair the places where disappointment made you suspicious of my care. Let it remind you that a closed door is not proof that I forgot you. Sometimes it is proof that I remembered your future when you could only see your present. And that, my child, is the kind of protection that deserves your trust even before it earns your understanding. My child, stay close and let this settle into you with full honesty, because this is not a small thing, and I do not want you to move past it too quickly. What you keep delaying is quietly shaping who you are becoming. You may think delay is neutral. You may tell yourself it is temporary, harmless, understandable, even reasonable. You may say you are just waiting for a better time, a clearer head, a calmer season, a more stable week, a little more energy, a little less pressure, a little more confidence. And yes, there are moments where waiting is wise. There are seasons when patience is holy. There are times when not moving too quickly is exactly what wisdom looks like. But that is not what I am talking about here. I am talking about the kind of delay that comes after clarity. I am talking about the kind of postponement that begins once your soul already knows. I am talking about the repeated later you keep offering to the same conviction, the same healing, the same conversation, the same surrender, the same boundary, the same act of obedience, the same change that your heart has already been nudging you toward. That kind of delay is not passive. It is formative. It is shaping you. Every time you hear truth and push it aside, something is being trained in you. Every time you feel conviction and keep moving as though nothing happened, something is being rehearsed in you. Every time you know what needs attention and choose distraction instead, your inner life is learning something from that choice. Do you understand what I am telling you? Delay is not empty space. Delay is practice. Delay is habit formation. Delay is the quiet construction of a version of you that becomes more comfortable postponing what matters most. And I do not want that for you. I do not want your heart becoming skilled at hesitation in the places where trust should be growing. I do not want your spirit becoming accustomed to hearing me and then negotiating with what I said until the urgency fades. I do not want you slowly training yourself to treat conviction like a suggestion and truth like background music. That is too costly. It costs tenderness. It costs responsiveness. It costs spiritual sensitivity. It costs peace. It costs alignment. It costs the simple joy of living with a clear conscience and an open heart. I need you to feel the weight of this, not as condemnation, but as awakening. The thing you keep postponing is not sitting still while you ignore it. It is shaping you while you weigh. The conversation you keep avoiding is shaping the way you handle truth. The forgiveness you keep delaying is shaping the way bitterness settles in your system. The boundary you keep postponing is shaping the way your soul learns to tolerate depletion. The habit you keep excusing is shaping the way your desires are trained. The prayer life you keep putting off is shaping the way your heart learns to live without depth. The rest you keep denying yourself is shaping the way your body and mind carry strain. The honesty you keep delaying is shaping the way you relate to yourself and to me. This is why I am speaking so clearly now. I do not want you to keep imagining that nothing is happening while you postpone. Something is happening. You are becoming. The only question is whether you are becoming more aligned through response or more resistant through delay. Sit with that. Do not run from it. Let it find you. Let it make you honest. Let it press you into the kind of clarity that changes how you move from this moment forward. Because once you understand that delay is shaping you, you stop treating it lightly. You stop calling it harmless. You stop assuming you can keep pushing things off without it affecting the kind of person you are slowly becoming. I know why you delay. I know the tenderness of that truth. Sometimes you delay because you are tired, and the thought of facing one more real thing feels like too much. Sometimes you delay because the cost of change feels heavier in the moment than the pain of staying the same. Sometimes you delay because you are afraid of what will happen if you tell the truth. You are afraid of conflict. You are afraid of grief. You are afraid of disappointing people. You are afraid of losing comfort. You are afraid of feeling what has been buried. You are afraid that if you begin, everything you have kept contained will start to spill out. I understand that. I am not blind to your reasons. I am not standing over you with cold impatience, demanding instant performance from a soul that has already been carrying more than most people know. I see your fear. I see your fatigue. I see the emotional math you do every time you think about change. But my child, even when delay is understandable, it can still be costly. Compassion for why you delay does not mean permission to remain there forever. I can hold your tenderness and still call you forward. I can understand your fear and still say, do not stay here. I can be gentle with your process and still refuse to bless avoidance. That is what I am doing now. I am not trying to crush you with urgency. I am trying to protect you from the quiet erosion that happens when the soul keeps postponing what it already knows needs response. Because delay changes the heart in subtle ways. It makes you less sensitive over time. The first time you resist a conviction, it stings. The second time, it still bothers you. The 10th time, it begins to feel normal. That is dangerous. Not because I stop loving you, but because the heart can become practiced in postponement. It can become slower to respond, quicker to justify, more comfortable with half-obedience, more skilled at self-explanation than self-surrender. I do not want that for you. I want your heart soft. I want your spirit responsive. I want your inner life alive enough to move when truth touches it. That is why I need you to stop romanticizing later. Later is not always the wiser choice. Sometimes later is just fear wearing polite language. Sometimes later is avoidance with a spiritual tone. Sometimes later is the place where your best intentions go to weaken until they no longer feel urgent enough to act on. That is why I want you to become suspicious of your own repeated postponement. When the same thing keeps surfacing, and you keep promising yourself you will handle it eventually, stop and ask, why do I keep pushing this away? Ask it. Do not answer too quickly. Let the truth rise. If it is fear, name it. If it is exhaustion, name it. If it is shame, name it. If it is resentment, name it. If it is the desire to keep comfort intact, name it. Because once you see what is feeding the delay, you stop fighting only the surface. You can begin to address the real barrier. And once the real barrier is brought into the light, it becomes far less powerful than it felt when it stayed unnamed in the shadows. This is why honesty matters so much. This is why I keep calling you into it. You cannot transform what you keep disguising. You cannot heal what you keep postponing into abstraction. You must bring it to me. You must say it plainly. You must let your heart become brave enough to admit what it has been doing and why. And my child, let me tell you something that may shift the way you see this forever. Delayed obedience is not only about what you are not doing. It is also about what you are becoming while you do not do it. That is why this is deeper than task completion. This is not me saying, hurry up and check the box. This is me saying, protect the shape of your heart. Because every response to my voice forms something in you. Every yes builds trust. Every surrendered step strengthens alignment. Every honest act of obedience deepens your inner freedom. But the reverse is also true. Every delay can strengthen hesitation. Every postponed truth can reinforce avoidance. Every resisted conviction can make the next one easier to resist. That is why I am asking you to think less like a manager and more like a steward. This is not about productivity. This is about formation. This is about the texture of your inner life. This is about the kind of person you are becoming in the repeated choices no one else sees. Do you want to become someone who quickly responds when I speak, even if imperfectly? Do you want to become someone who honors conviction while it is still warm? Do you want to become someone whose heart remains tender and teachable? Then you must treat delay differently. You must stop viewing it as harmless downtime and start seeing it as spiritual shaping. I am not telling you this to make you anxious. I am telling you this so you can become intentional. There is grace here, my child. There is so much grace here. If you have delayed, I am not turning away from you. If you have postponed the same thing 10 times, I am not abandoning you in disgust. If you have let fear keep you in place longer than you wanted to admit, I am not finished with you. I am still here. I am still calling. I am still opening the door. I am still giving you this moment. That is grace. But do not misuse grace by calling it permission to keep waiting forever. Grace is not only the comfort that covers you. Grace is also the power that moves you. Grace is the strength to do the thing you kept putting off. Grace is the courage to send the message, make the confession, set the boundary, tell the truth, close the door, open the journal, sit in the silence, return to prayer, ask for help, begin the healing, choose the harder but holier step. That is grace in motion. That is what I am offering you right now. So do not say, "I'll remember this later." Respond while the truth is alive in you. Respond while your heart is open. Respond while the conviction is still warm. Do not wait for the perfect emotional atmosphere. Do not wait for the ideal schedule. Do not wait for a version of yourself that feels fearless. Bring me the version of you that is here now. Bring me the tired yes. Bring me the trembling honesty. Bring me the imperfect willingness. That is enough for me to work with. That is enough for transformation to begin. That is enough for the cycle of delay to start losing its hold. So here is what I want you to do, and I want you to do it before you move on, because this point is meant to create action, not just reflection. Identify the one thing you have delayed the longest that your soul already knows needs your response. One thing, not 10. One. Write it down. Speak it aloud if you need to. Then answer these 2 questions honestly. What has this delay been costing me? And who am I becoming if I keep postponing it? Sit with those questions. Let them do their work. Do not soften the answers. Then choose one concrete action that moves you out of delay and into response today. Make it small enough to do, but real enough to matter. Schedule the conversation. Send the first message. Remove the traitor. Tell the truth in prayer. Set the boundary. Cancel the draining commitment. Turn off the distraction. Ask for help. Begin the journal entry. Sit in silence for 15 minutes and stop running. Whatever it is, do it. Let your body participate in the obedience. Let your hands do something that proves to your own soul that this is not just another emotional moment that fades by nightfall. Then say this to me in your own honest way. Father, I do not want delay to keep shaping me. Teach me to respond when you speak. That prayer matters. That surrender matters. My child, what you keep delaying is quietly shaping who you are becoming, but that does not mean the pattern is to continue. This moment can become a turning point. This moment can become the place where later loses its grip. This moment can become the day your heart begins relearning how to move with truth instead of negotiating with it. I am not asking you to become perfect overnight. I'm asking you to stop letting postponement form you more than obedience does. Come now. Respond now. Let this be the place where your becoming begins to shift. My child, stay close to me here, because this next part reaches into one of the quietest dangers in your spiritual life, and it is subtle enough that many people never fully recognize it until years have passed. I am calling you out of passive agreement and into real alignment. You already know how to agree with truth in your mind. You know how to hear something that is right and feel it deeply for a moment. You know how to say, "Yes, that's for me." You know how to recognize conviction, how to nod inwardly, how to feel the sting of clarity, how to sense that my voice is touching a real place in you. But my child, Passive agreement is not the same as transformation. Feeling moved is not the same as being aligned. Understanding what is true is not the same as arranging your life around that truth. And I need you to hear this with love and sobriety. You have spent too much time standing near truth without fully stepping into it. You have had moments of recognition that never became reordering. You have had moments of conviction that never became concrete movement. You have had moments where your spirit said yes while your habits quietly kept saying not yet. That gap is what I am addressing now. That gap is where so much of your frustration has been living. That gap is why you can hear something powerful, feel deeply touched, and then still find yourself days later carrying the same heaviness, repeating the same patterns, tolerating the same drain, delaying the same response. It is not because the truth failed. It is because passive agreement is not enough to carry a life. You cannot live on emotional recognition alone. You cannot build peace on moments of inspiration that never become embodied decisions. You cannot keep collecting holy realizations while refusing to restructure the parts of your life those realizations are trying to touch. That is why I am speaking to you with such fatherly firmness now. I do not want you to be the kind of person who keeps hearing me and saying, "That's powerful," while the deeper architecture of your life remains mostly untouched. I want more for you than that. I want real alignment. I want the kind of inner and outer agreement where what you know, what you believe, what you choose, what you protect, and how you live begin to move in the same direction. That is where freedom grows. That is where peace deepens. That is where your soul stops feeling divided. Because part of what has been exhausting you is not only pain, it is inner division. It is the strain of knowing one thing and living another. It is the tension of sensing what matters while still tolerating what is draining you. It is the quiet friction of having received a truth but not yet letting that truth reorder your patterns, your schedule, your boundaries, your relationships, your private habits, your emotional reflexes, your attention, your responses. That friction wears on you. It makes you feel unsettled. It makes you feel spiritually thin. It makes you wonder why peace feels close in moments and far in practice. My child, this is why. Your soul is asking for alignment. Not more inspiration without action. Not more agreement without embodiment. Not more tears without decisions. Alignment. And I am not saying that to burden you. I am saying it because alignment is mercy. Alignment removes the split. Alignment lets your inner life breathe. Alignment means the truth you already know is finally allowed to become the structure you actually live inside. That is what I am inviting you into. So do not just agree with me here. Do not simply feel seen and move on. Let this become the moment where you stop admiring truth and start arranging your life around it. I know why passive agreement can feel safer. It gives you the comfort of contact with truth without the cost of change. It lets you feel spiritually engaged without forcing you to disrupt the patterns that have become familiar. It allows you to remain emotionally stirred while still protecting the parts of your life you do not want to surrender yet. That is why it can become such a quiet trap. It feels close to obedience, but it is not the same. It feels reverent, but it can still be avoidant. It feels sincere, but sincerity without restructuring eventually becomes its own form of delay. I want you to think honestly now about how many times you have had a moment like this, where something landed, where you knew I was speaking, where you felt the truth, where your heart softened, and then you walked away without asking the deeper question, what in my life now has to change because of what I know? That question matters. Ask it now. Ask it without fear. Ask it without protecting your comfort. Ask it without assuming that agreement alone is enough. Because if you do not ask that question, you will keep turning sacred moments into emotional experiences instead of turning them into turning points. My child, I am not after your temporary intensity. I am after your realignment. I am not trying to create one more moment where you feel something profound and then return to the same arrangement that keeps draining you. I am reaching for the actual structures of your life. I am reaching for what you tolerate, what you prioritize, what you keep excusing, what you keep feeding, what you keep postponing, what you keep calling normal even though your soul has clearly outgrown it. That is where alignment lives. It lives in the real choices. It lives in the repeated decisions. It lives in the habits you protect. It lives in the boundaries you set. It lives in the things you stop doing and the things you begin to do. It lives in the way you use your time. It lives in the way you respond to discomfort. It lives in whether you return to me when the day gets loud. It lives in whether you keep letting the same patterns take over or whether you interrupt them with truth. So I want you to stop measuring your response to me by how deeply you feel during a message like this. Start measuring it by what changes afterward. That is not cold. That is wise. That is mature. That is how you know whether truth is being honored or merely admired. And I want to say something else very tenderly here, because some of you are afraid of the word alignment because you think it means you must suddenly become flawless. No, that is not what I am asking. Alignment is not perfection. Alignment is direction. Alignment is when your life begins moving in the same direction as the truth you already know. It is when your choices stop fighting your convictions. It is when your habits stop contradicting your prayers. It is when your schedule stops starving the very things you say matter most. It is when your boundaries begin to reflect what your soul has already been trying to tell you. It is when your response becomes embodied, even if imperfectly. That is what I want. That is enough to begin. That is powerful. That is holy. And it is possible for you right now, not because you suddenly became stronger on your own, but because I am with you in this. I am not asking you to align by self-force. I am asking you to let my truth become the organizing principle of what you do next. That is a very different thing. That is grace in motion. That is surrender with structure. That is where transformation stops being abstract and starts becoming real. And my child, there is something else you must understand if you are going to move from passive agreement into real alignment. Alignment almost always costs you something that passive agreement lets you keep. It may cost you convenience. It may cost you comfort. It may cost you the false peace of avoidance. It may cost you access to distractions you have been using to numb yourself. It may cost you the approval of people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. It may cost you familiar rhythms that no longer serve your soul. It may cost you certain identities you have worn for too long. The strong one who never needs rest. The easy one who never says no. The spiritual one who feels deeply but never changes much. The responsible one who carries everyone and slowly resents it. The guarded one who keeps control by never being fully honest. Alignment will challenge those things. It will ask you to let go of what is no longer worthy of the life I am building in you. And because of that, part of you may want to retreat back into passive agreement because it feels safer to feel touched than to be chained. But my child, listen to me with all the tenderness I can place into this moment. What you keep protecting is costing you more than what surrender will. The comfort you are trying to preserve is not actually keeping you at peace. The patterns you are defending are not truly sustaining you. The familiar arrangement you keep returning to is already making your soul tired. That is why I am asking you to trust me enough to let alignment cost what it needs to cost. Because what it gives in return is far greater. It gives you coherence. It gives you integrity between inner knowing and outer living. It gives you relief from the exhausting split of divided desires. It gives you a cleaner conscience. It gives you more stable peace. It gives you deeper trust. It gives you a life that feels less like a tug of war between what you know and what you keep doing. That is worth the cost. That is worth the disruption. That is worth the grief that sometimes comes when old things must be released. And I want you to hear this too. I am not asking you to align everything in one day. I'm asking you to stop pretending alignment is happening if nothing concrete is changing. That honesty matters. That will protect you from spiritual self-deception. You can be in process and still be aligned if your life is truly moving in the direction of truth. But if you keep having moments like this and the same arrangements remain untouched over and over, then passive agreement is quietly replacing real surrender. I do not say that to wound you. I say it to wake you. Because I love you enough to tell you when you are standing near the doorway instead of walking through it. And right now, my child, I am standing at the doorway with you. I am not asking you to stare at it. I am saying, come through. Step in. Let the truth cost something. Let it change something. Let it rearrange something. That is where the next layer of your peace lies. That is where the next layer of your healing begins to breathe. That is where the life you keep longing for starts becoming more overwhelming. So here is what I want you to do right now, and I want you to do it as an act of holy seriousness, not as a casual reflection. Ask yourself one direct question. What truth have I already agreed with that I have not yet aligned my life around? Do not rush that. Let the answer surface. It may be about rest. It may be about boundaries. It may be about forgiveness. It may be about a habit you keep effusing. It may be about your prayer life. It may be about honesty in a relationship. It may be about the way you handle your emotions. It may be about the noise you keep feeding. Whatever it is, name it. Then ask a second question. What one structure in my life must change if I am serious about alignment? Judge you. Not sentiment. Judge you. You need a new boundary. A new routine. A new limit. A new conversation. A new decision. A new no. A new yes. A new practice. A new removal. Choose one. Make it concrete. And do it. Put it in place before the day ends if possible. Protect it. Treat it like an altar, not a suggestion. And then say this to me in your own words. Father, I do not want to merely agree with you. I want my life to align with what you are showing me. Pray that. Mean it. Then keep moving in that direction. My child, I am calling you out of passive agreement and into real alignment because your soul is tired of being divided. Your heart is tired of being moved without being reordered. Your spirit is tired of recognizing truth while your habits quietly pull in the opposite direction. Enough. Let this be the place where agreement becomes arrangement. Let this be the place where conviction becomes structure. Let this be the place where what you know finally begins to shape how you live. I am with you in that. I will strengthen you in that. I will meet you in every honest act of alignment. But you must step. You must choose. You must let the truth become embodied. Come now. Do not just nod. Move. My child, as you step out of passive agreement and into real alignment, I want you to understand that alignment is not only about what you stop doing, it is also about what you begin to build with me. When you choose to support the spreading of this message through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are aligning your resources with the very truth that is transforming your heart. Every gift becomes like seed cast into living soil, and I am the one who multiplies the harvest. Did I not say, give, and it will be given to you? pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I breathe life into that promise over those who move when I prompt them. Your generosity becomes a stream that carries my voice to souls who are standing where you once stood, near the doorway, but afraid to step through. If you feel the nudge in your spirit right now, that is my invitation, not coincidence. Do not let this moment remain agreement alone. Act in alignment. Give through super thanks. Join the membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description now, and let your obedience help light the path for others. My child, I want you to feel the tenderness and seriousness of this moment together, because they both belong here. The door is open, but you must walk through it. I have been bringing you closer with every word, not to overwhelm you, not to impress you, not to stir you emotionally for a little while and then leave you where you started. I have been bringing you to a threshold. That is what this is. This is not just insight. This is not just comfort. This is not just a reminder that I see you. It is all of those things, yes, but it is also more. It is a threshold moment. It is a doorway moment. It is the kind of moment where you can either let truth remain outside your daily life as something meaningful you once heard, or you can let it become the line you cross into a different way of living. That is why I am saying this so plainly now. The door is open. I have opened it. I have brought the clarity. I have exposed the patterns. I have named the delays. I have pointed to the noise. I have revealed the hidden weight. I have shown you where your heart has been warning you. I have reminded you that my urgency is rooted in love. I have been guiding you step by step toward this exact place where the path forward is no longer hidden in generalities. You know enough now. Not everything, but enough. Enough to take the next step. Enough to stop negotiating with what is already clear. Enough to move out of passive agreement. Enough to stop calling the repeated thing a phase. Enough to stop pretending delay is harmless. Enough to stop waiting for a perfect future version of yourself to become willing. The door is open. But my child, I will not force you through it. I will not drag you into alignment against your will. I will not override your participation. I honor your agency too much for that. I invite. I call. I convict. I illuminate. I strengthen. I stay near. I make the way plain. But you must walk through. You must choose. You must respond. That is where dignity lives. That is where love becomes mutual movement. That is where trust becomes embodied. Do not misunderstand this. I am not standing at the doorway with crossed arms, waiting to see if you can earn something from me. Oh. I am standing here with my hand extended, with love in my eyes, with patience in my voice, with truth in my mouth, saying, "Come, my child. Step forward. Do not stay where you have been. Come through." That is my posture. That is my heart. But the step is still yours. The decision is still yours. The movement is still yours. And this is why I need you to take this seriously. Because the longer you stand in the doorway, the more temptation will try to talk you back into the old room. The old habits will call you. The familiar comfort will pull at you. The noise will try to rise again. The rationalizations will return. The emotional intensity of this moment will eventually soften. That is normal. But if you do not walk through while the truth is clear, you risk turning a threshold into another memory of almost. I do not want that for you. I do not want this to become one more moment where you felt something holy and then drifted back into the familiar because the familiar was easier than the step. I want this to become the moment where you crossed over. The moment where your response became real. The moment where the inner yes became outward movement. The moment where the door stopped being a metaphor and became an actual decision in your life. That is possible right now. Not because you feel strong enough in yourself, but because I am already here with you at the threshold. You need to understand that open doors for me are not only about opportunity. Sometimes the door I open is not a new platform, a new relationship, a new visible blessing, or a dramatic new season. Sometimes the door I open is the doorway into honesty. Sometimes it is the doorway into repentance. Sometimes it is the doorway into rest. Sometimes it is the doorway into boundaries. Sometimes it is the doorway into grief you have avoided. Sometimes it is the doorway into surrender. Sometimes it is the doorway into saying no to what has been draining you. Sometimes it is the doorway into saying yes to the deeper life you have been postponing. And because those doors do not always look glamorous, you can be tempted to hesitate. You can be tempted to keep asking for a bigger door while ignoring the Holy One already standing in front of you. But my child, do not despise the doorway just because it leads inward before it leads outward. Do not ignore the threshold of healing because you are still hoping for the threshold of visible change. Many times, the inward door is the one that makes the outward doors sustainable later. Many times, the doorway into hidden alignment is the one that prepares you to carry visible blessing without it crushing you. Many times, the door you want is waiting on the door you are avoiding. Let that truth reach you. The door in front of you right now may not look like what you expected, but it is still sacred. It may not be dramatic, but it is decisive. It may not impress anyone else, but it can change everything in you. And I want you to stop underestimating the power of a simple but honest crossing. The moment you tell the truth instead of protecting the pattern, you have crossed. The moment you set the boundary instead of repeating the same depletion, you have crossed. The moment you put down the distraction and sit with me in the silence, you have crossed. The moment you stop chasing the closed door and release it to me, you have crossed. The moment you apologize, confess, forgive, rest, say no, say yes, ask for help, and the excuse, begin the healing, protect the quiet, honor the conviction, you have crossed. Do you see how practical this is? Do you see how real this is? The door is not a vague spiritual feeling. It is a concrete invitation in the area I have already been putting my finger on. That is where the threshold is. That is where the decision lies. That is where I want you to move. So stop waiting for the perfect emotional wave. Stop hoping for a more dramatic sign. Stop expecting the doorway to announce itself with spectacle. It is already here. I have already shown it to you. I have already named it. I have already made it personal. And I'll come through. Step in. Move. Let the next right action become the sound of your yes. And my child, I want to speak to the fear that rises at the doorway, because it is real, and I know it. There is often a strange vulnerability in moments like this. Part of you wants freedom, but another part of you fears what will happen when you leave the familiar behind. Even painful patterns can feel strangely safe because you know how they work. Even draining habits can feel comforting because they are predictable. Even emotional loops can feel familiar enough that the thought of doing something different makes your body tense. I understand that. I know the doorway can feel like loss before it feels like liberty. I know stepping through can feel uncertain. You may wonder, what if I cannot sustain it? What if I fail after I begin? What if I walk through and still feel messy? What if I step toward healing and it hurts more before it gets better? Those are real fears. Bring them to me, but do not let them rule you. Because the truth is this: the old room is already costing you more than the doorway will. The familiar is not truly safe just because it is known. The current arrangement is already draining your peace, thinning your clarity, and shaping your life in ways you do not want to keep repeating. That is why the doorway matters. It is not the doorway into perfection. It is the doorway into a different direction. It is not the doorway into instant comfort. It is the doorway into honest movement. It is not the doorway into having every answer. It is the doorway into trusting me enough to stop living against what your soul already knows. And I need you to hear this with deep tenderness. You do not have to walk through the door alone. I am not standing on the other side shouting instructions while you figure it out. I walk with you through it. I go with you into the hard conversation. I go with you into the silence. I go with you into the grief. I go with you into the boundary. I go with you into the confession. I go with you into the first awkward day of doing differently. I go with you into the moment where the old pattern tries to pull you back. I go with you into the discomfort of new obedience. That matters. You are not crossing into an empty room. You are crossing into deeper fellowship with me. That is what makes this doorway safe, even when it is costly. My presence goes with you. My grace goes with you. My patience goes with you. My strength goes with you. My mercy goes with you. So stop standing there as though the step depends only on your own power. It does not. The step depends on your willingness, yes, but the sustaining comes from me. I will teach you how to keep walking after you cross. I will not abandon you the moment you begin. I will not shame you if the first steps feel shaky. I will not withdraw if the process is messy. I am asking for your step, not because I delight in watching you strain, but because I delight in partnering with your yes. That is what I am after. That is what I am inviting. That is why this moment is so precious. You are closer than you realize to a real shift, but the shift is waiting on the crossing. So here is what I want you to do now, and I want you to do it in a way that makes this point real in your actual life. Name the doorway. Be specific. What exactly is the open door in front of you right now? Is it a conversation? A confession? A boundary? A release? A decision to rest? A decision to return to prayer? A decision to stop feeding a certain habit? A decision to forgive? A decision to stop forcing a closed door? A decision to ask for help? A decision to step away from noise? Name it. Write it down. Then ask yourself one question. What does walking through this door look like in the next 24 hours? Not someday. Not eventually. In the next 24 hours. Make it concrete. Make it simple. Make it real. Then do it. Do not overcomplicate it. Do not build a 10-week plan if the first step is obvious. Walk through the door in one embodied act. Send the text. Make the call. Turn it off. Delete it. Cancel it. Speak it. Pray it. Yes. Apologize. Journal the truth. Sit in the quiet. Ask for help. Step away. Step in. Just cross. Then once you have done that, pause and tell me in your own words, Father, I am walking through the door you opened. That prayer matters. That declaration matters. It tells your own heart that this was not just another meaningful moment. It tells your own spirit that this threshold became movement. My child, the door is open, but you must walk through it. I have brought you this far in love. I have spoken to you with tenderness and urgency. I have uncovered what needed uncovering. I have named what needed naming. I have made the next step clearer than it was before. Now do not linger at the threshold until the clarity fades. Do not stand there and admire the doorway while the old room keeps calling your name. Walk through. Come with me. Cross over from passive agreement into real alignment. Cross over from delay into response. Cross over from the old arrangement into the first step of a truer one. I am here. My hand is extended. My voice is clear. The door is open. Now, my child, walk through it. My child, stay with me now, because this next part matters more than you realize, especially after everything I have already said to you. Do not return to the old room just because it is familiar. I want you to picture that clearly, because this is exactly where many people lose the very change they were invited into. They stand at the threshold. They hear me. They feel the weight of truth. They even take a first step. But then the unfamiliarity of the new path starts pressing on them, and suddenly the old room begins to look comforting again, not because it was good, not because it was peaceful, not because it was truly life-giving, but because it was known. It was predictable. It was rehearsed. It required less immediate courage. And my child, I need you to recognize that temptation for what it is. Familiarity can be seductive even when it has been quietly harming you. You can miss what drains you simply because you understand how to function inside it. You can feel pulled back toward patterns that stole from you simply because they do not require the same vulnerability as the new path. That is why I am speaking so directly now. If you begin to move, if you start to respond, if you take the next right step, there will likely come a moment where the old room calls to you. The old habits will whisper. The old emotional loops will offer their counterfeit comfort. The old distractions will make themselves available. The old excuses will sound persuasive. The old ways of coping will suddenly seem easier than the holy discomfort of staying on the new path. When that moment comes, and I want you to expect it, not be surprised by it, I need you to remember this. Familiar is not the same as safe. Familiar is not the same as peaceful. Familiar is not the same as aligned. Familiar is often just practiced. That is all. And what has been practiced can feel natural even when it is unhealthy. That is why you must not trust familiarity by default. Some of the very things that feel most natural to you right now are the exact things I have been trying to free you from. Some of the reactions that feel most automatic are the ones that have been quietly costing you peace. Some of the patterns that feel most like you are not the truest version of you at all. They are simply the most rehearsed version of your wounds, your fears, your survival strategies, your old agreements, your learned habits of self-protection. My child, do not mistake rehearsal for identity. Do not mistake repetition for destiny. Do not mistake comfort for calling. The old room is familiar, yes. But if I have been calling you out of it, then it is no longer where your soul belongs. That matters. That means even if it still feels emotionally accessible, it is not where you are meant to build your life. That means when the urge rises to go back into the distraction, the compromise, the avoidance, the emotional shutdown, the people-pleasing, the self-neglect, the endless noise, the chasing of the closed door, the habit that dulls you, the rhythm that drains you, you must pause and tell the truth. This feels familiar, but it is not where I am being led. That is a powerful sentence. Hold on to it. Use it. Speak it when the old room starts to look appealing simply because the new space still feels unsteady. Because the new space will feel unfamiliar at first. Of course it will. Healing feels unfamiliar to someone used to surviving. Boundaries feel unfamiliar to someone used to overextending. Silence feels unfamiliar to someone used to constant noise. Rest feels unfamiliar to someone who has built identity around strain. Honest prayer feels unfamiliar to someone who has kept me at a distance. Letting go feels unfamiliar to someone who has been gripping tightly. But unfamiliar does not mean wrong. Sometimes unfamiliar is exactly what freedom feels like in the beginning. I want you to understand something very deeply here, because it will protect you in the days ahead. When you leave an old pattern, there is often a stretch of time where the new path does not yet feel rewarding enough to compete emotionally with the old one. That is normal. It does not mean you made the wrong choice. It means you are in the middle of retraining. The old room still feels emotionally efficient because you know how it works. You know how to numb. You know how to distract. You know how to avoid. You know how to overfunction. You know how to shut down. You know how to scroll, chase, overthink, control, appease, escape, return to what drains you, revisit what I told you to release. Those pathways are practiced. They fire quickly. They offer immediate familiarity. But immediate familiarity is not the same as long-term peace. And the new path, the healthy response, the honest conversation, the boundary, the silence, the prayer, the restraint, the surrender, the letting go, the different choice may feel slower, shakier, less emotionally satisfying at first. That is because you are building something new. Do not abandon it just because it does not feel fluent yet. Fluency comes through repetition. Peace deepens through practice. New patterns become stronger by being chosen again and again, especially in the early days when the old ones still feel easier. That is why I need you to stop evaluating the new path too quickly. Do not take one hard day as proof that the old way was better. Do not take one uncomfortable moment as proof that the boundary was wrong. Do not take one night of restlessness as proof that silence is not working. Do not take one wave of craving as proof that the old habit was harmless. Stay with the new path long enough for it to become embodied. Stay with the truth long enough for your nervous system to learn it. Stay with the boundary long enough for your soul to feel the relief. Stay with the silence long enough for my voice to become clearer than the noise you use to feed. Stay with the prayer long enough for intimacy to become natural again. Stay with the release long enough for your hands to remember what it feels like not to grip. This matters so much because some of you keep sabotaging real progress by returning too quickly to what is familiar the moment the new path feels awkward. Do not do that. Resist that. Expect the awkwardness. Expect the pull. Expect the emotional memory of the old room. But do not bow to it. Let the awkwardness be part of the transition, not a verdict on the path. Let the discomfort be evidence that something is being retrained, not evidence that you should retreat. This is one of the places where real maturity is built. When you stop letting initial unfamiliarity talk you back into patterns that have already proven they cannot carry the life I am calling you into. And I want to say this clearly. If the old room truly gave you life, I would not be asking you to leave it. If the old pattern truly sustained your soul, I would not be pressing on it. If the old habit truly protected you, I would not be calling you out of it. Trust that. Let my invitation itself become part of your evidence. If I am asking you to step out, it is because staying has already become too costly, even if the cost is subtle, even if you have normalized it, even if part of you still misses it when the new way feels unfamiliar. And my child, I want to speak to the emotional pull of nostalgia, because this is one of the enemy's favorite ways to weaken resolve after clarity has come. Nostalgia can lie to you. It can selectively remember what was comforting while minimizing what was destructive. It can make the old room look softer than it was. It can make the old pattern seem simpler than it actually was. It can make you miss the immediate relief while forgetting the deeper emptiness that always followed. It can make you remember the false comfort and conveniently forget the long-term cost. That is why you must become careful with what you rehearse in your mind when the urge to return comes. If you only remember what the old room gave you in the first 5 minutes, you will be tempted to go back. But if you remember what it cost you in the next 5 hours, the next 5 days, the next 5 weeks, your clarity will return. This is why I want you to become a truthful historian of your own life. Do not romanticize what harmed you. Do not rewrite the old pattern into something gentler than it was. Do not tell yourself the old coping mechanism was helping you if it was actually hollowing you out. Do not call the old relationship dynamic manageable if it kept teaching your soul to abandon itself. Do not call the old rhythm normal if it kept draining your peace and thinning your spirit. Tell the whole truth. The whole truth protects you. The whole truth breaks nostalgia's spell. The whole truth reminds you why the door had to close, why the boundary had to be set, why the habit had to be interrupted, why the old arrangement could not remain. And if you tell the whole truth, the pull of the old room loses some of its power, because then you are not merely remembering what was easy, you are remembering what it cost. That is wisdom. That is how you protect your future from your own selective memory. I want that for you. I want you to become someone who can look back without being seduced. Someone who can feel the pull and still say, no, I remember what it did to me. Someone who can acknowledge the familiarity without surrendering to it. Someone who can feel the ache of transition and still remain on the new path because truth matters more than emotional nostalgia. That is strength. That is how freedom deepens. And hear me clearly, my child. You do not owe your old room another visit just because it still knows your name. You do not owe the old pattern one more cycle just because it still feels accessible. You do not owe the old compromise one more return just because you are tired tonight. You do not owe the old escape your attention simply because the new path feels demanding. You are allowed to stay out. You are allowed to keep walking. You are allowed to say, that used to be where I went, but it is not where I live now. Let that sentence become real in you. Let it become part of your inner language. That is not arrogance. That is alignment. That is you honoring what I have been building. That is you refusing to betray the work of grace just because familiarity knocks at the door. So here is what I want you to do, and I want you to do it before the old room has a chance to romanticize itself again. Name the old room. Be specific. Is it distraction? Emotion shutdown? Overthinking? A draining relationship? Constant noise? Self-neglect? Bibleverse? A habit you use to numb? Chasing what I already closed? Name it plainly. Then write down 2 lists. On one side, write what it gave you immediately: comfort, distraction, relief, attention, temporary control, escape. Be honest. Then on the other side, write what it cost you over time: peace, clarity, rest, tenderness, trust, spiritual sensitivity, self-respect, emotional energy, joy. Look at both lists. Read them slowly. Then say this to me in your own words: Father, I will not confuse familiarity with safety. Pray that. Mean it. Then create one barrier today that makes it harder to return to the old room. Remove the access. Delete the trigger. Change the routine. Leave the environment. Set the boundary. Tell a trusted person. Protect the new path. Make the old room less available. My child, do not return to the old room just because it is familiar. You have already lived there long enough to know what it costs. You do not need one more cycle to confirm what I have already shown you. Stay out. Stay close to me. Let the unfamiliar become practiced. Let the new path become stronger. Let your life learn a different rhythm. Because what feels foreign today can become peaceful tomorrow if you stop running back to what once felt normal but never truly gave you life. My child, come very close now, because I want this final point to settle into the deepest place in you, the place beneath your thoughts, beneath your emotions, beneath the part of you that has learned how to keep functioning while your soul quietly carries more than it should. This is your moment. Do not leave this message the same. I am not saying that to pressure you. I am saying it because I love you too much to let this become one more holy interruption that you admire, feel deeply, and then slowly file away while the old patterns reclaim their ground. I have walked with you through every layer of this. I have shown you the doors I closed to protect you. I have shown you the warning signs your heart has been sending. I have shown you the patterns you can no longer keep calling temporary. I have shown you the danger of delay. I have shown you the difference between panic and response. I have shown you that the doorway is already open. I have shown you that the change begins in private. I have shown you that the old room is not safer simply because it is familiar. I have shown you that the life you keep asking me for is on the other side of the obedience you keep postponing. I have not been vague with you. I have not been absent. I have not been silent in the way your fear sometimes claims. I have been near. I have been clear. I have been patient. I have been fatherly. I have been steady. And now, my child, you are standing in the kind of moment that can become a dividing line if you let it. Not because everything becomes perfect tonight. Not because one act suddenly erases every struggle. But because one honest response can change the direction of a life. One real surrender can break the agreement you have kept making with delay. One practical step can begin to retrain your heart. One boundary can protect peace that has been leaking for too long. One act of truth can stop the inner split from deepening. One return to me in the private place can begin to restore the tenderness you thought you had lost. One refusal to go back to the old room can prove to your own soul that something truly is changing. That is why I am telling you with all the love and seriousness I have for you, do not leave this message the same. Do not close this moment and then slide back into the same arrangements as if nothing happened. Do not let the emotional impact fade into memory while your actual life remains untouched. Do not reduce this to inspiration. Do not turn this into a meaningful experience without a meaningful response. Let this become an altar. Let this become a marker. Let this become the night, the morning, the hour, the turning point where you stop saying, I know, and begin saying, I am moving. That is what I want. That is what I am inviting. That is what your soul is aching for even now. And I want you to know something beautiful as you stand here. I am not disappointed that you needed this many reminders. I am not frustrated that you took time to get here. I am not withholding my love until you prove yourself with flawless follow-through. I am here because I love you now. I am speaking because I want you now. I am calling because I still believe in what can happen in you now. This is not a courtroom moment. This is a father moment. This is me saying, my child, enough drifting, enough postponing, enough standing at the threshold while the old room keeps calling your name. Come here. Step with me. Let this be the moment you stop living divided. Feel that. Receive that. Let it soften the shame that tries to rise. Let it steady the fear that tries to negotiate. Let it quiet the voice that says, maybe later. No, my child. This is your moment. Not because you are finally strong enough in yourself, but because my grace is here, my voice is clear, and your heart is open enough to hear what it has been trying to avoid. That is enough. That is more than enough for a real beginning. And I want to speak directly to the part of you that still wants to delay just a little longer, because I know that part is still there. It is the part that says, I'll think about it. It is the part that says, I need a little more time. It is the part that says, maybe tomorrow when I'm calmer. It is the part that says, I'll do something small later. My child, hear me clearly and lovingly. Later has already taken too much from you. Later hath been expensive. Later has cost you peace, cost you clarity, cost you rest, cost you tenderness, cost you responsiveness, cost you opportunities to align earlier, cost you nights you did not need to spend in the same cycle, cost you emotional strength that could have been protected, cost you intimacy with me that could have deepened sooner. I am not bringing that up to shame you. I am bringing it up so that later loses its charm. I am bringing it up so you stop romanticizing postponement. Because later is one of the enemy's quietest tools in your life. Not open rebellion. Not dramatic rejection. Just later. Just enough delay to cool conviction. Just enough hesitation to make the old room feel reasonable again. Just enough waiting to turn clarity into another vague memory. My child, do not give later one more victory tonight. Do not let it steal this moment too. If you have heard me, then answer me. If you know what I am pressing on, then stop circling it. If you know the next right step, then take it. Do not wait to feel more ready. Do not wait to feel more spiritual. Do not wait to feel more brave. Bring me the version of you that is here now. Bring me your tired yes. Bring me your trembling yes. Bring me your emotionally complicated yes. Bring me your imperfect yes. But let it be a real yes. That is all I'm asking. A real yes. The kind that touches your hands, your schedule, your attention, your choices. The kind that turns into action. The kind that closes one door, opens one boundary, makes one call, tells one truth, turns off one source of noise, kneels in one honest prayer, releases one old attachment, interrupts one pattern, stays out of one old room. That is enough to begin. That is enough to make heaven lean close. That is enough to tell your own soul, I am not walking away unchanged this time. I want you to say that, even if only inside yourself. I am not walking away unchanged this time. Hold that. Let it become a decision, not just a feeling. Because this is not about intensity. This is about direction. This is not about proving yourself in one dramatic burst. This is about choosing a line and crossing it. This is about saying, the old cycle does not get to have me tonight. The old excuse does not get to speak louder than this clarity. The old room does not get one more easy return. The delayed obedience does not get one more comfortable name. This is the moment I answer. That is strong. That is holy. That is the kind of decision that changes what tomorrow feels like. So do not negotiate with this. Do not make it abstract. Do not make it poetic. Make it practical. Make it embodied. Make it real. Because the enemy is not afraid of what you feel in this moment nearly as much as he is afraid of what you will do because of it. That is why I am pushing you gently but firmly toward action. Move, my child. Respond, my child. Step, my child. Come now. And let me say something very tender before I bring this to its full close, because I know some of you are afraid that if you step now and stumble later, it will all mean nothing. That fear has trapped you before. You think, what if I begin and then fail? What if I take the step and then the old room calls me again? What if I make the boundary and then feel weak tomorrow? What if I pray tonight and feel distant next week? What if I start and then do not do it perfectly? My child, listen carefully. I am not asking for a flawless performance. I'm asking for surrender beginning. I am not measuring you by whether you never wobble. I am looking at whether you are willing to come with me now. If you stumble later, I will still be there. If you have a hard day, I will still be there. If the old room calls, I will still be there. If the pattern tries to rise again, I will still be there. This is not about earning a perfect record. This is about breaking agreement with passivity. This is about ending your partnership with delay. This is about stepping into a different direction with me. Direction matters. Direction changes outcomes. Direction shapes identity. Direction teaches your heart what to expect from itself. And when you choose a new direction with me, even if the process is uneven, you are no longer the same person who simply stayed in place. Do you understand how important that is? You do not need to promise me perfection. You need to give me permission to lead you. You need to give me your next yes. You need to let me into the place you have kept managing alone. You need to stop protecting the exact things that keep hurting you. That is what I am asking. And I want you to know that I am not standing at the end of the path with a clipboard. I am walking the path with you. I will remind you again tomorrow if I need to. I will strengthen you when the feelings shift. I will steady you when the old room feels loud. I will meet you in the private place. I will comfort you when letting go feels like grief. I will give you wisdom when you need the next step after the first one. I will not abandon you after this message ends. That is why you can step now without needing to know everything. Because you do not need the whole road if you have my hand. You do not need a guarantee that you will never feel weak if you know I remain strong. You do not need a perfect future version of yourself to become available before you move. You need trust. You need willingness. You need one embodied act of response. That is how transformation begins in the real world. Quietly. Personally. Practically. With me. So release the fear of future imperfection. Do not let it rob the power of present obedience. The step in front of you still matters. The yes in front of you still matters. This moment still matters. And I am telling you, with all the certainty of a loving Father, if you honor this moment, you will not regret it. It may challenge you. It may stretch you. It may expose you. It may ask you to release what has felt familiar. But you will not regret choosing truth over drift, alignment over passivity, response over delay, life over the old room. You will not regret walking with me through the open door. So here is what I want you to do right now, and I do not want you to postpone it by even one more unnecessary minute. Stop reading for a moment if you need to. Sit up. Breathe. Put your hand over your heart if that helps you stay present. Then answer me plainly. What is the one action you must take immediately after this message ends so that you do not leave it the same? Name it. Not 10 things. One thing. One action. One response. One door to close. One boundary to set. One truth to tell. One prayer to pray. One distraction to remove. One step into the private place. One release. One call. One message. One no. One yes. One real movement. Decide it now. And do not merely admire the decision. Execute it. Get up and do it. If it is a prayer, pray now. If it is a deletion, delete it now. If it is a text, send it now. If it is silence, create it now. If it is a boundary, set it now. If it is rest, choose it now. If it is confession, begin it now. If it is surrender, speak it now. Then say this to me in your own honest words. Father, I will not leave this moment the same. I am saying yes to you now. Pray that. Mean it. Let your body, your mouth, your choices, your time, your attention all agree with it. My child, this is your moment. Do not walk away and call it meaningful if it does not become movement. Do not let this become another memory of almost. Let it become the place where your life bent toward obedience. Let it become the place where the old cycle lost ground. Let it become the place where you stopped waiting for later. Let it become the place where the private change began. Let it become the place where you finally walk through the door I have been holding open for you. I am here. I am with you. I am not rushing away. My hand is still extended. My voice is still steady. My love is still covering you. My invitation is still alive. Now answer me, my child. Answer me with your step. Answer me with your obedience. Answer me with your yes. My child, if you truly will not leave this moment the same, then let your response become more than a feeling. Let it become movement that carries my word beyond your own life. There are hearts I am reaching tonight who have not yet heard this call, and every act of support you give becomes like bread placed in my hands so I may multiply it for the hungry. When you give through Super Thanks, join the membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are placing seed into the field of souls I am awakening. Remember my promise. Cast your bread upon the waters, and after many days you will find it again. I declare that what you release for my kingdom will return to you as provision, protection, and peace that guards your path. If your heart is saying yes to me in this moment, then let that yes take form in your action. Do not delay. This is part of your obedience, part of your turning point. So move now, give through Super Thanks, become a member, or use the PayPal link in the description, and let your seed ignite light for countless lives. And once you have responded, let your heart grow quiet for a moment. What you have released in faith has already opened a space within you. This is not only about what flows outward, it is about who is now drawing nearer to you. When you move in obedience, you become aware of my presence waiting just beyond the noise. So pause, listen closely, and soften your heart, because I am already near, gently calling you. My beloved child, I am speaking directly to you right now. You feel that gentle, persistent pull deep within your chest. That is me. I am standing right outside the closed door of your spirit, and I am gently knocking. I do not come with force. I come with boundless, unconditional love. You have been running so fast, trying to keep up with the endless, exhausting demands of this world. I see the heavy pressure at your job that makes your shoulders ache and your mind race. I know the intense fear of the future that keeps you staring at the ceiling in the middle of the dark night. I watch the unspoken tensions in your family that you try so hard to fix with your own strength, and I feel your quiet, secret pain of feeling completely overlooked by the people around you. Pause right now. Take a very deep breath, just like the quiet pause before a heavy storm breaks. Give those heavy, crushing burdens to me. I am here to tell you that it is time to open the door. You have placed heavy deadbolts on your heart to protect yourself from getting hurt again. You constantly lock away the past hurts, the painful memories, and that lingering, heavy shame that whispers you are not good enough. I see those thick, heavy chains you have wrapped around your soul to survive. You think those locks keep you safe from the storms of life, but they only keep you trapped in the cold dark. Unlock them today. Release your tight grip on your painful past. Let go of the shame that does not belong to you anymore. I am holding a key in my hand, and my grace is the key that fits every single lock you have ever built. My forgiveness effortlessly breaks through the hardest rust of your regrets and mistakes. Open your hands right now and let me undo what the harsh world has tied up. I am ready to swing those heavy doors wide open and flood your life with peace. Prepare the inner rooms of your heart for me. I want to live inside your daily moments, not just in your hurried prayers. Clear away the thick clutter of your endless worries, Sweep out the thick dust of your daily doubts. I desire to make a beautiful, holy home right inside your spirit. Invite me into your quietest, most hidden spaces today. I know it takes true courage to be fully seen by me, your Creator. You might feel a tight knot in your stomach right now, a sudden fear that if I see the real, unfiltered you, I will turn away in disappointment. Listen to me. That knot isn't from me. Let's undo it together right now. I already know every single mistake you have made, every hidden flaw you try to cover, and every silent tear you have cried. Even knowing all of this, I love you more fiercely and deeply than you can ever imagine. Do not hide from my loving gaze. Stand tall, lift your head, and let me look at you. You are my precious, priceless masterpiece, and I will not leave you in the dark. Step out of the cold shadows today. Walk away from the fragile hiding places you run to when you feel overwhelmed by life. I am calling you into my warm, brilliant light. This is my divine invitation to a true, abundant, and powerful life, and the door is wide open right now. Step into the light. Breathe in my holy presence. Feel my love wrapping around you like the comforting warmth of the morning sun after a long, freezing night. Come to me exactly as you are, without any disguise. You are completely safe here in my arms. You are deeply loved here in my presence. Your brand new life begins the very moment you say yes to me. Open your heart right now, and let us begin this beautiful journey together. My precious child, listen to me as we walk further into this new light. I see the heavy seals you have allowed the world to place upon your life. You look around at your daily routine. You see others moving forward, and a quiet, painful whisper tells you that your best days have already passed you by. You feel completely stuck in a job that drains your energy, passed over for opportunities, and capped by what your bank account or your boss says is possible for you. I am telling you today that I am completely shattering those invisible glass ceilings right now. I did not create you to live a small, restricted life, constantly shrinking yourself to fit into boxes built by limited human minds. I wove incredible, specific talents deep into your very being when you were still in your mother's womb. You have gifts resting dormant inside you that you have not even begun to uncover because you have been too afraid to try. Look at your hands. Look at your life. I have placed extraordinary potential inside you, and it is time to break the seals. I know exactly what is holding you back. I see the intense, crippling fear of failure that grips your chest every time you think about starting that new project, applying for that new position, or stepping out into the unknown. You worry about what people will say if you fall. You replay past mistakes in your mind like a broken record, convincing yourself that you are just not capable. Stop listening to those lies right now. Overcome this fear of failure by leaning entirely on my infinite strength, not your own frail abilities. When you walk with me, even your failures are simply stepping stones to your ultimate victory. I am doing a brand new thing within you right now, in this exact moment. Can you not perceive it? Do not look backward at what did not work out 5 years ago. Look forward. Embrace this new season with an open mind and a willing heart. Trust deeply that my timing for your blooming is absolutely perfect. You often feel incredibly frustrated, feeling like you are falling behind in life's race, watching others succeed while you wait in the shadows. But I am never late, and I am never early. I have been using this quiet season of waiting to develop your root system so that when you finally bloom, no storm will ever be able to uproot you. I am asking you to stand up today. Shake off the heavy blanket of self-doubt. Walk confidently out of your front door today, not as a victim of your circumstances, but as a deeply loved, highly favored child of the Most High God. Step out into the world with your head held high. You do not have to apologize for the space you take up. I have authorized your presence. Use the talents I gave you. Speak up in those meetings. Start that endeavor. And trust that I am the strong wind beneath your wings, lifting you higher than you ever thought possible. My beloved, bring me into the very middle of your ordinary, everyday life. You wake up tired, pour your morning coffee, sit in exhausting traffic, and you silently ask yourself if this repetitive cycle is all there is to your existence. You answer endless emails. You wash a mountain of dishes. You pay your bills, and you feel like a machine just going through the motions. I hear your sigh of frustration. I see how you desperately search for a grand, cinematic purpose, completely missing the divine reality right in front of you. I am telling you today that your mundane, everyday tasks have profound eternal significance when you do them with me. Bring me into your commute. Invite me into your kitchen. Your life is not a random series of chaotic accidents, frustrating delays, or pointless chores. Your life is a masterful, highly detailed design, and I hold the blueprint in my hands. Align your daily walk with my ancient paths of righteousness, and you will find incredible meaning in the smallest moments. I have carefully reserved a very specific mission for you alone. There is a person at your workplace who desperately needs your specific kind of encouragement. There is a family member who needs the exact brand of patience only you can provide. Do not despise the small beginnings or the quiet days. Everything you do, every smile you offer, every honest day of hard work you complete, contributes to the beautiful, grand harmony of my kingdom. Your unique voice is absolutely necessary. Without you, the song of my creation is incomplete. Do not try to copy the loud voices you see on screens or the paths of people you envy. I do not want a copy. I want the original masterpiece I created when I formed you. Stay fiercely focused on the prize of your high calling. The world will try to distract you with endless noise, trivial arguments, and the exhausting pursuit of temporary wealth or status. Do not let the culture dictate your worth or your direction. Keep your eyes firmly fixed on me. When you feel overwhelmed by your schedule, pause and ask me to show you the blueprint. I will guide your steps. I will show you what to say yes to, and more importantly, I will give you the courage to say no to the things that drain your spirit. You are building something eternal with your life, brick by brick, day by day. Trust the master builder. Do your daily work with a joyful heart, knowing that I see every hidden effort. I celebrate your faithfulness in the shadows, and I promise that your labor in love is never, ever in vain. My child, let us sit together and talk about the deep, hidden pain you try so hard to conceal behind your polite smile. I see the bleeding wounds you carry from the people you trusted most. I know about the harsh, cruel words spoken by a parent that cut deep into your self-worth. I saw the painful betrayal by a close friend that made you vow to never let anyone get close to you again. I felt your silent tears when you were harshly rejected and entirely left out. These wounds are exactly why you close yourself off. These injuries are why you built those thick emotional walls. But you cannot truly live while wearing heavy emotional armor. Today, I am gently applying the soothing, miraculous balm of Gilead to the deep scars of your rejection. Let me touch the places that hurt the most. Do not pull away from my healing hands. I know the hardest thing I will ever ask you to do is to find the strength to forgive those who caused you to retreat into the dark. You feel a tight, angry knot in your stomach when you think of their names. You feel that they owe you an apology you will likely never receive. I am commanding you today to release that heavy debt. Forgiveness is not saying what they did was right. Forgiveness is unlocking your own prison door. Let it go. Hand that heavy burden of resentment over to me right now. I am the ultimate judge, and I am also the great physician. I am intimately close to you when you are broken-hearted, and I hold you securely when your spirit feels utterly crushed. You have been carrying this toxic weight for entirely too long, and it is actively poisoning your present moments. Let my pure, unconditional love wash over your pain like a clean, rushing river. I am offering you a supernatural exchange today. Hand me the gray, ruined ashes of your past disappointments, your broken relationships, and your shattered expectations. In return, I am giving you a brilliant, heavy crown of divine beauty and lasting peace. You do not have to identify as a wounded person anymore. Your trauma is a chapter in your story, but it is not the title of your book. Let me heal you completely. Let down your guard in the absolute safety of my presence. Take a slow, deep breath right now. Feel your lungs expand. Learn to breathe again without waiting for the next bad thing to happen. You are safe here. I will defend you. I will protect your heart. Allow yourself to heal and step back into the world not as someone who was broken, but as someone who has been beautifully, powerfully restored by the hands of the Creator. My precious one, I see how you look at your life through a very narrow, frightened lens of scarcity. You check your bank account with a heavy sigh and a knot of dread. You look at your daily schedule and feel a desperate poverty of time and energy. You constantly operate under the exhausting belief that there is simply never enough money, never enough help, never enough love. I am calling you right now to drastically shift your mindset. You are currently living like an orphan scavenging for crumbs, but you are the royal child of the King who owns the universe. I define abundance not just by the numbers in a ledger, but through the profound lens of spiritual wealth, unshakable peace, and deep, lasting joy. I am commanding you to move from a mindset of absolute scarcity to a bold, confident mindset of my infinite provision. Prepare your physical and spiritual storehouses today, for I am about to pour out blessings that you do not have enough room to easily contain. But you must make space for them. You cannot receive my fresh rain if your hands are tightly clenched into angry fists, holding on to your fear of poverty. Open your hands. The greatest and most powerful catalyst for this incredible increase is your gratitude. Start thanking me right now for exactly what you have, no matter how small it seems. Thank me for the roof over your head, the clean water you drink, and the breath currently filling your lungs. Stop complaining about what you lack, and start powerfully praising me for what I have already provided. Gratitude instantly changes your atmosphere. It shifts your eyes from the dusty ground to the limitless, open sky. I want you to live a life that beautifully and powerfully overflows. I do not bless you simply so you can hoard resources and live in comfortable isolation. I provide for you so that your life becomes a rushing river that waters the dry, barren gardens of the people around you. Give generously of your time. Give freely of your encouragement. Share what you have, and watch how I multiply it instantly. Trust deeply that I am the God who provides exceedingly and abundantly more than you can ever ask or even imagine. When you face an unexpected bill or a sudden lack of resources, do not immediately panic. Come to me first. Present your need to me with a calm, trusting heart. I own the cattle on 1,000 hills, and I know exactly what you need before you even speak the words. Enter this new, vibrant season of abundance with absolute confidence in my unfailing care. My child, do not walk away now. We have only just begun to unlock the heavy doors of your life. If you close this conversation, you leave the deepest parts of your healing entirely untouched, and it deeply grieves my heart to see you settle for a mere fraction of your breakthrough. Do not let the distractions of the world pull you away from my presence. Stay with me. I have so much more to pour directly into your weary spirit. Listen closely, for the very next words I speak are meant to shatter the foundation of your hidden fears. My child, you must pay strict attention to the words that constantly fall from your lips. Listen to the damaging things you say when you look at yourself in the mirror. Listen to how easily you casually complain about your miserable future, your failing health, or your terrible luck. I need you to understand a critical, spiritual reality right now. You hold the immense power of life and death directly upon your tongue. When you speak words of defeat, you are literally speaking death over your own life. You are actively building the very prison you are begging me to break you out of. Stop it right now. I command you to change your everyday vocabulary. You have my authority living inside of you, and it is time you started using your voice to powerfully shift your current reality. I want you to start speaking my absolute promises over the dry, dead, hopeless bones of your circumstances. When you look at a bank account that seems dead, do not agree with the poverty. Speak my provision over it. When you feel a sickness in your body, do not surrender to the diagnosis. Declare my healing power. You have mountains standing in your way, mountains of sudden debt, mountains of family conflict, mountains of chronic depression. Do not sit at the bottom of the mountain and cry about how tall it is. I gave you the authority to command the mountain to be violently picked up and thrown into the sea in my name. Use the sharp, double-edged sword of the Spirit, which is my word, to aggressively cut through the worldly deception and the dark lies the enemy whispers into your ear. Your testimony carries immense, world-changing weight in the ears of the lost and the broken. When you speak of my goodness, you become a blazing lighthouse in a very dark, confusing world. Do not be silent about what I have done for you, and do not wait until the battle is completely over to start shouting your praise. I am asking you to boldly declare your final victory right now, right in the middle of the raging storm. Praise me before the giant actually falls to the ground. Praise me before the check arrives in the mail. Praise me while your heart is still actively healing. This kind of radical, vocal faith terrifies the darkness and invites my miraculous power directly into your situation. Open your mouth today. Speak life, speak truth, and powerfully command your world to align with my heavenly will. I see you standing right in the middle of what feels like a vast, empty wilderness. You look around at your current life, and everything seems dry, quiet, and completely stalled. You feel like you are wandering without a map, unsure of which step to take next. I know the exact feeling of deep isolation that creeps into your chest when your prayers seem to bounce off the ceiling. You ask me for clear directions, for a loud voice from the sky to tell you what to do with your career, your family, or your hidden struggles. Listen to me right now. I have never left your side, not even for a single second. I am your guiding pillar of cloud during your confusing days, and I am your warm, protecting fire during your darkest, coldest nights. You might not see a blazing light in your living room, but my presence is the quiet peace that settles over you when you finally stop panicking. Trust my unseen hand today. I am commanding you to stop searching for a massive, 10-year roadmap. You are exhausting yourself by trying to figure out the entire rest of your life by tomorrow morning. I do not give you the whole map. I give you the manna. I give you the exact daily bread, the precise amount of strength, and the specific wisdom you need just for today. Look at the ground right in front of your feet. What do you need to do today? Go to work. Care for your family. Speak kindly. Breathe. I will provide the deep nourishment your tired soul needs for this specific 24 hours. When tomorrow comes, I will faithfully provide for tomorrow. Do not let the heavy anxiety of next year steal the quiet, beautiful provision I am handing you right now. I want you to deeply understand that this dry desert you are walking through is a place of profound preparation, not a place of angry punishment. You think you are being delayed because you did something wrong. You think I am holding back my blessings because you are not good enough. Undo that lie right now. I am using this quiet, hidden season to build a fierce, unshakable resilience inside of you. I am stripping away your dangerous reliance on the noisy, shifting opinions of other people. I am teaching you to tune your ears to my still, small voice amidst the howling wind of the world's endless demands. Close your eyes for a moment. Do you hear it? It is a whisper deep in your spirit, gently calling you forward, telling you that you are entirely safe. Trust my strong hand, especially when you absolutely cannot see my face in the middle of the violent storm. I know the thunder is loud. I know the sudden medical news, the unexpected financial drop, or the harsh relational conflict feels like a flood that is going to pull you under the dark water. I command the storm, and I command you to find your anchor in me. Reach out your hand in the dark. I am already holding you. You are never, ever walking alone. I give you my absolute, unbreakable promise that I will never leave you, nor will I ever forsake you. Keep walking. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. We are walking out of this dry wilderness together, and the promised land is closer than you think. I am asking you today to take a profound step of faith that might feel completely terrifying to your logical, human mind. You love it to be in control. You want to know exactly how everything is going to work out before you say yes to me. You want guarantees, safety nets, and a fully funded plan before you forgive that person, before you change that habit, or before you step into the new role I have for you. But I am inviting you into the beautiful, wild power of radical obedience. I want you to say yes to me before you fully understand the how. I am the creator of the universe. I have the how completely figured out. Your only job is to provide the willing heart. Say yes to my promptings today, even when your hands are shaking and your voice is trembling. You often view my commands as heavy, restrictive chains meant to ruin your fun or limit your freedom. Change your perspective right now. My commands are not cold prison walls. They are strong, protective boundaries built around the edge of a deadly cliff. When I tell you to walk away from a toxic relationship, I am not punishing you. I am saving your life. When I command you to stop feeding your mind with dark, destructive content, I am actively protecting the fragile peace of your soul. I see the deep, hidden traps the enemy has set for you, and my instructions are the exact map to navigate safely around them. Trust that every single thing I ask you to do is rooted in my fierce, protective love for you. There is a direct, undeniable relationship between your daily faithfulness and your ultimate fruitfulness. You want to see massive, miraculous breakthroughs in your life, but you are ignoring the small, quiet whispers I give you every morning. I'm asking you to be faithfully obedient in the deeply ordinary moments. Speak the truth when a lie is easier. Show up on time when you want to quit. Give generously when you feel the urge to hoard. Shed the heavy, exhausting weight of your own rebellion. You have been fighting me, trying to do things your own way, and it has only made you profoundly tired. Drop the heavy bags of your stubborn independence. Experience the overwhelming, rushing peace that instantly follows a fully surrendered will. When you finally stop fighting me, you will feel a massive weight lift off your weary shoulders. You do not have to carry the heavy burden of being the general manager of the universe anymore. Resign from that exhausting job today. Let me be God. One single step of brave obedience today can completely change the entire trajectory of your family's legacy. Your children are watching you. The world is watching you. Walk confidently in my ways. Run the long race with fierce endurance, and watch how I honor the heart that completely trusts my voice. Look closely at the beautiful, complicated life you hold in your hands right now. You look at your house, your bank account, your ticking clock, and your natural talents, and you constantly feel the heavy, crushing pressure of trying to protect and grow what is yours. You are exhausted from guarding your territory. I am inviting you to completely shift your mindset today, and it will bring you immediate, profound relief. Realize right now that you are a trusted manager of my divine resources, not the stressed out owner of them. The breath in your lungs is a gift from me. The money in your hands belongs to my kingdom. The hours in your day are on loan from heaven. When you stop acting like you own it all, you instantly lose the agonizing fear of losing it all. I am commanding you to manage the precious time, the valuable treasure, and the unique talents I have entrusted to your care with a brand new perspective. Stop spending your limited, valuable energy on things that simply do not matter. You scroll mindlessly for hours. You worry about the opinions of strangers, and you spend your money to impress people who do not truly love you. I want you to start actively investing in things that carry eternal, massive weight and real value. Invest your best time in your family. Invest your deep attention in a quiet conversation with a hurting friend. Invest your resources in lifting up the broken people in your community. These are the investments that will never rust, fade, or lose their immense value. I want you to experience the deep, genuine joy of being a cheerful giver in a cold world that is entirely full of selfish takers. The world tells you to hoard, to grip tightly, and to look out only for yourself. I am telling you that an open hand is the only kind of hand that can actually receive a new blessing. Do not give to others or to my kingdom out of a heavy sense of religious guilt. Give because it radically breaks the dark power of greed over your own heart. When you give freely, you are making a powerful, physical declaration that you trust me to be your ultimate provider. Honor me with the very first fruits of your labor, your energy, and your deep love. Do not give me the exhausted leftovers of your day. Prepare a beautiful account of your life to present before my heavenly throne. I am not standing over you with a harsh grading scale, waiting to punish you for your mistakes. I am your loving Father, eager to celebrate what you did with the gifts I gave you. I want to look at your life and say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." Do not waste this precious, fleeting life I have placed in your hands. Use your voice to build up. Use your money to heal. Use your time to love. Live beautifully, purposefully, and generously today, knowing that I will supply every single thing you need to carry out my will. I feel the rapid, frantic beating of your heart. I see the way your chest tightens when the sun goes down and the house gets quiet. I know all about the suffocating, heavy dread that saddles over you when you think about your upcoming bills, the medical test results, or the uncertain future of your children. You are walking around carrying a massive, paralyzing blanket of fear. I am speaking directly to that fear right now. Remember this absolute, unshakable truth. I did not give you a spirit of timidity, cowardice, or heavy anxiety. That knot in your stomach is a lie from the enemy, designed to keep you frozen in place. I am commanding you to tear off that heavy blanket of panic today. Replace your crippling anxiety with the explosive power, the unconditional love, and the perfectly sound mind that I continuously provide. When your mind starts racing into worst-case scenarios, I command you to aggressively hit the brakes. Do not let your thoughts run wild into dark, tragic futures that do not even exist. You have a sound mind. I gave it to you. Use it to focus firmly on the present moment and on my absolute faithfulness. Cast all of your heavy, exhausting cares entirely upon me right now. take the heavy boulders of your daily worries and physically imagine throwing them onto my strong shoulders. I care deeply, passionately, and fiercely for you. I am big enough to carry your heaviest burdens without breaking a sweat. Let me carry them. Stand incredibly firm when the enemy whispers dark, slimy lies of your total inadequacy into your ear. The enemy will tell you that you are a complete failure, an imposter, and that it is only a matter of time before everyone finds out. Use the solid, unbending shield of faith to completely quench every single one of those fiery, destructive darts. When the thought comes that says you are going to lose everything, hold up your shield and declare, "My God supplies all my needs." When the thought says you are entirely alone, hold up your shield and say, "My Father never leaves me." You have the absolute authority to talk back to your fears. Find your deep, uninterrupted rest in the cool, safe shadow of my almighty wings. You do not have to fight these dark battles in your own frail strength. When the panic rises, I want you to stop whatever you are doing. Close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath and visualize yourself stepping under the massive, protective wings of the Creator of the stars. The world outside may be raging. The storms may be violently crashing. But under my wings the temperature drops, the noise fades, and absolute, profound peace reigns. Do not let fear dictate the decisions of your life anymore. Step out in bold, fierce courage today, knowing that the Almighty God is standing like a giant fortress right in front of you. You have stepped completely out from the heavy shadow of fear, and because your life is wide open now, the enemy can no longer hold you down. I am inviting you right now to take this absolute freedom and use it to violently shatter the chains of others who are still trapped in terrifying darkness. When you sow a seed of financial support into this ministry, you are literally pouring the warm, healing oil of my Spirit onto bruised and battered souls across the entire earth. For I tell you now, give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will I pour directly into your lap. This is not a random moment. It is a divine, urgent appointment to aggressively expand my kingdom before the night falls and it is too late. As you release your physical treasure, I will fiercely multiply your spiritual and financial harvest, building a wall of total protection around your household. Stand up in your brand new courage. Use the super thanks. Join as a kingdom member, or click the PayPal link in the description to plant your powerful seed right now. Are you still listening, my beloved? Do not let the enemy steal your attention in this critical, holy moment. It breaks my heart when you turn your back and walk away just as the absolute truth is finally taking root in your soul. You are standing on sacred ground right now, and to leave would be to abandon the very miracle you have been weeping for. Keep your eyes on me. Keep listening. The heavy chains are currently breaking, and what I am about to reveal to you will completely reconstruct your future. You are currently looking at your difficult circumstances entirely with your physical, human eyes, and because of what you see, you are feeling profound, crushing despair. You see a bank account that looks empty. You see a relationship that looks totally dead. You see a physical body that feels incredibly broken. I am calling you right now to step into a completely different realm of living. I am commanding you to start walking by bold, unshakable faith and not by what your limited physical eyes currently perceive. Your eyes only show you the temporary, passing facts. My word shows you the eternal and changing truth. The facts might say you are defeated, but the deep truth says you are an overwhelming conqueror. Understand today the actual substance of things hoped for in the Spirit. Faith is not just a nice, fluffy feeling or a desperate wish upon a star. Faith is holding the invisible reality in your hands before it ever shows up in the physical world. I want you to start seeing the not yet as if it were already firmly established in the courts of heaven. When you pray for healing, I want you to see yourself totally whole. When you pray for provision, I want you to see the debts fully canceled. Stop judging your future entirely by the dusty facts of your current reality. I am the God who creates entire universes out of absolute nothingness. I can easily create a way where there is currently a dead end. I know the deep, agonizing patience required for the manifestation of my promises. You have been waiting so long that your heart actually physically aches. You feel like a forgotten seed buried deep in the dark, cold dirt. But listen to me. Being buried and being planted look exactly the same until the seed finally breaks through the ground. You are not buried. You are planted. Your patient, stubborn faith in the dark soil deeply moves my heart. It powerfully shifts the spiritual atmosphere around your life. When you choose to praise me while you are still waiting, you confuse the darkness and invite my miraculous light into your situation. Anchor your weary, battered soul deeply in the unchanging, solid nature of my character. People in your life will change their minds, break their promises, and walk away. Economies will suddenly crash, and the world will constantly shake. But I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. I am the solid rock beneath your feet. Throw your heavy anchor deep into the reality of my perfect love. Do not tie your emotional stability to the unpredictable weather of your daily circumstances. Tie your hope to my eternal throne. Keep believing, keep trusting, and keep your eyes focused entirely on the unseen horizon. The glorious morning is coming, and my promises to you will absolutely not fail. My child, I am inviting you into something far deeper than your weekly routine. Let us talk honestly about how you have been approaching me lately. I watch you rush through your morning, throwing a quick, desperate prayer up to heaven like a coin into a wishing well, hoping for a good day. You treat our relationship like a religious duty, an exhausting checklist you have to complete so that I will not be angry with you. Undo that lie right now. I am not a demanding boss waiting to fire you for missing a meeting. I am your father. I deeply desire a vibrant, living, breathing relationship with you. I want you to move far beyond the cold, empty walls of religious obligation and step into the warm, inviting room of holy intimacy. Stop trying to impress me with your perfect words. Just come sit with me. I am asking you to carve out quiet moments in the secret place of the Most High. You say you do not have time, but I see the hours you spend scrolling, searching for a brief distraction from your heavy stress. Put the phone down. Turn off the television. Find a quiet chair in your house, sit still, and simply breathe in my presence. I want you to learn the beautiful art of listening as much as you speak during your prayers. You come to me with a long, frantic list of demands, problems to fix, and bills to pay. I care about all of those things, but before I give you my hand, I want you to seek my face. The absolute beauty of a heart that just wants to be near me is something that completely captivates heaven. When you spend real, uninterrupted time with me, it radically changes how you see the terrifying world around you. Intimacy with me is the only cure for the deep panic in your chest. When you know the Creator personally, the chaotic storms of life suddenly lose their terrifying power. You will begin to look at your difficult coworkers with my deep compassion. You will start to view your frustrating family members through the lens of my endless patience. You cannot help but change when you stand close to the fire of my love. You are being completely transformed into my image not by trying harder to be a good person, but through constant, quiet communion with me. I promise you that if you draw near to me, I will instantly draw near to you. I will not hide from you. I will not make you jump through spiritual hoops to earn my attention. The door to my throne room is wide open to you at every hour of the day or night. When you wake up at 2 in the morning, gripped by sudden anxiety, do not turn on the screen. Turn your heart toward me. Whisper my name in the dark. I am right there, sitting on the edge of your bed, waiting to calm your racing mind. Enter into this holy intimacy today and discover the profound, unshakable joy of simply being deeply loved by your Creator. Look at your tired hands, my beloved, and feel the heavy, aching exhaustion deep in your bones. I see exactly how hard you are working just to keep your head above the rising water. You wake up already feeling defeated by the alarm clock. You drag your heavy feet through the day, trying to be strong for everyone else. You are carrying the heavy burdens of your children, your aging parents, your demanding boss, and your own silent struggles. I am commanding you right now, come to me. Bring your heavy-laden, totally exhausted spirit to my feet. You were never built to carry the weight of the entire world on your frail human shoulders. Let me give you the true, deep rest your soul is desperately crying out for. I am asking you to make a supernatural exchange today. Take off the heavy, suffocating yoke the world has placed on your neck. The world demands perfection, constant hustle, and endless striving. But my yoke is incredibly easy, and my burden is wonderfully light. When you walk tied to me, I pull the heavy weight of the cart. I am exchanging your absolute physical and emotional exhaustion for my supernatural, unending endurance. You think you need a long vacation or a different job to find relief. What you truly need is the deep, refreshing water of my spirit pouring over your tired mind. I will give you the strength to face tomorrow, but you must stop trying to manufacture that strength on your own. I want you to learn how to actively wait upon the Lord. Waiting on me is not sitting passively in a chair, defeated and hopeless. Waiting on me is an active, fierce trust. It is standing firm in the violent storm and declaring, my God is currently fighting for me. When you wait on me with that kind of bold faith, I will renew your strength like the mighty eagles. You will suddenly run through your challenges and not grow weary. You will walk through the dark valleys and not faintly collapse. I see your hidden tears when you feel like you are completely failing. Listen to my voice. Your absolute weakness is not a disqualification. It is the perfect, beautifully lit stage for my infinite power to be completely displayed. Do not be ashamed of your current limitations. When you reach the very end of your rope, that is exactly where my strong hands take over. Stop hiding your struggles from me. Bring me your tired, worn-out heart. My grace is absolutely sufficient for every single trial you are currently facing. It is enough for the medical diagnosis. It is enough for the sudden financial crisis. It is enough for the painful divorce. Lean your heavy head against my chest today. Close your eyes and let out that long, deep breath you have been holding for months. I have you. I am holding you together, and I will breathe fresh, vibrant life back into your weary soul. The world around you is incredibly, dangerously loud right now, my precious child. From the moment you open your eyes, you are bombarded with a chaotic flood of notifications, angry news alerts, and the toxic opinions of millions of strangers. Everyone is shouting, demanding your attention, and telling you what you should believe, how you should look, and what you should buy to finally be happy. I am commanding you to aggressively unplug from the noise and carefully distinguish my calm voice from the frantic screaming of the modern world. My voice does not bring panic. My voice brings absolute, solid peace. My voice does not tear you down. It builds you up on a foundation of solid rock. You must stop rooting your identity in what fragile, flawed humans say about you. Your worth is not determined by the amount of money in your checking account, the specific title on your office door, or the number of people who validate you online. I am commanding you to root your entire identity solely in what I say about you. I say you are fiercely loved. I say you are totally forgiven. I say you are a royal heir to the kingdom of heaven. Embrace the liberating, massive power of this truth. When you finally grasp who you are in me, the harsh criticisms of your enemies will bounce off you like harmless pebbles against a thick steel wall. The truth will set you completely, wonderfully free from the heavy chains of people-pleasing. I urge you to fiercely guard your heart and your mind against the subtle, dark leaven of deception. The enemy does not always come with a loud roar. Sometimes he comes with a quiet, reasonable-sounding lie. He tells you that everyone else is cutting corners, so you should too. He tells you that a little bit of compromise will not hurt your marriage or your career. I am calling you to be a blazing beacon of absolute integrity in a dark generation that celebrates compromise. When you are sitting in that boardroom and a dishonest deal is proposed, stand firm. When the gossip starts in the break room, walk away. Let your brilliant, holy light shine brightly so that hurting men and women may look at your life and instantly glorify your Father in heaven. You do not have to preach a loud sermon on a street corner to be a light. Your quiet honesty, your gentle patience with a rude customer, and your fierce loyalty to your family speak louder than 1,000 shouted words. Hold on tightly to the anchor of my unchanging word. When the culture shifts and the world loses its collective mind, you will stand tall, completely unbothered, because your feet are planted on the eternal, solid truth of my promises. I see exactly what you are doing, my child. You have slowly, quietly retreated into a safe, lonely, and heavily fortified emotional fortress. You were hurt deeply by people in your past, perhaps even people inside a church, and you made a silent, painful vow that you would never let anyone get close enough to hurt you again. You tell yourself that you only need me, that you can walk this difficult spiritual path entirely alone. I am telling you today that you were never, ever meant to carry the crushing weight of your life in total isolation. I did not design you to be a solitary island. I am commanding you to open the heavy gates of your fortress and step back into the beautiful, messy, healing fellowship of the body of Christ. You desperately need the strength that only comes from deep, authentic kingdom community. A single coal pulled out of a blazing fire will quickly turn cold and gray. But when you put that coal back alongside the others, it instantly catches fire again. You are currently burning out because you are disconnected from the fire. I am calling you to find your people. Find the ones who will stand in the massive gap for you when you are too exhausted to pray for yourself. Bear one another's heavy burdens as a direct, physical reflection of my unconditional love. When your friend is weeping over a sudden loss, sit in the dark with them. When you are celebrating a massive victory, let them cheer with you. Do not underestimate the explosive, mountain-moving power of unified prayer and collective, joyful worship. When you stand shoulder to shoulder with your brothers and sisters, lifting your voices together in the middle of a dark world, the enemy completely panics. There is a supernatural strength released when 2 or 3 are gathered strictly in my name. I want you to experience the helpful friction of iron sharpening iron within your spiritual relationships. You need friends who love you enough to tell you the hard truth when you are making a destructive mistake. You need mentors who have walked through the fire and can show you the safe path out. I am also asking you to look around your daily life and actively reach out to the lonely, just as I so desperately reached out to you. Notice the person who always sits alone in the cafeteria. See the neighbor who has not had a visitor in months. You know exactly how agonizing that isolation feels. Use your healed pain to rescue someone else. Be the loving, reliable friend you are begging me to send to you. As you pour your life into others, I promise I will pour deep, rich, completely overflowing relationships directly back into your lap. Step out of the shadows today and embrace the family I have built for you. My precious one, I feel the pull of the world trying to draw you away, but I command you to stay present with me. It brings a deep, agonizing sorrow to my spirit when you trade our sacred, life-altering communion for a cheap, temporary distraction. You absolutely cannot afford to miss what comes next. The exact blueprint for your ultimate destiny is unfolding in this very conversation. Honor my voice. Give me your complete, undivided focus right now, and let us finish this profound work together. You are standing at a major, terrifying crossroads right now, my beloved. I see the anxious sweat on your brow and the tight knot in your stomach. You are staring at two different paths, completely paralyzed by severe decision fatigue. Should you take that new job across the country? Should you finally confront that broken relationship? How do you fix the financial mess you are currently staring at? You're desperately trying to calculate all the variables with your limited, human mind, and it is driving you to the edge of a breakdown. Stop striving right now. I command you to pause, look up at me, and simply ask for the wisdom I give liberally and generously to absolutely everyone who seeks it. I do not hide my will from you like a cruel, impossible riddle. I am the God of absolute clarity, not the author of dark confusion. But you must learn to boldly discern between the good opportunities and the best path in my eyes. Not every open door is put open by my hand. Sometimes a good salary or a flashy title is just a golden cage designed to pull you away from the specific mission I have assigned to you. Avoid the deadly, subtle pitfalls of your own pride and self-reliance. You think you are smart enough to navigate this minefield alone. Drop your pride today. Trust my Holy Spirit to gently, firmly lead you into all truth and down the exact right paths. Do not make these massive, life-altering decisions in a total vacuum. I have strategically placed wise, seasoned people around you for a reason. Seek out the profound value of godly counsel. Talk to the elders, the mentors, and the believers who have a proven track record of faithful obedience. Let them look at your blind spots. Listen to their warnings. The enemy wants you to isolate yourself and make rushed, emotional decisions in the dark hour of your panic. I am telling you to bring your confusing options into the bright, revealing light of wise, biblical community. I promise you that if you lean completely on me, I will make your crooked paths instantly straight. I will give you a profound, deep peace about the right choice, a peace that makes absolutely no logical sense to the world around you. Make your decisions today based on the eternal future I have carefully planned for you, not on the temporary, fleeting fear of the present moment. Take a deep breath. Hand the heavy burden of this choice entirely over to me. Step forward in bold faith, knowing that even if you slightly stumble, my strong right hand will instantly catch you and place you firmly back on the road to your glorious destiny. I am looking directly at the intense, chaotic battlefield of your mind right now. I see how your thoughts spiral out of control the moment your head hits the pillow at night. You replay every single mistake you made that day, every awkward conversation, and every harsh word spoken to you. You allow a dark, heavy flood of anxiety to wash over your brain, imagining worst-case scenarios for your children, your job, and your future. I am commanding you right now to stop letting your mind be a dumping ground for the enemy's toxic lies. I require you to take absolute control of your inner world today. You must vigorously take every single thought captive and force it to bow in complete obedience to Christ. When a thought tells you that you are going to fail, arrest that thought immediately. Do not entertain it. Do not argue with it. Replace it instantly with my solid promise that I am working all things together for your absolute good. I want you to aggressively renew your mind so you can clearly prove my perfect, pleasing will for your life. You cannot live a victorious, abundant life if your mind is constantly feeding on a diet of fear and outrage. I see the hours you spend endlessly scrolling through negative news, angry comments, and the carefully filtered, fake lives of other people. You are willingly drinking poison, and then wondering why your spirit feels incredibly sick. I command you to firmly guard the heavy gates of your eyes and your ears. Filter your daily intake strictly through the lens of what is pure, what is lovely, and what is truly honorable. If a television show, a social media account, or a daily habit fills you with heavy dread or dark temptation, cut it off. You have the ultimate authority to choose what enters your mental sanctuary. When you intentionally protect your mind, I will give you a profound peace that completely surpasses all human understanding. This is not a fragile, temporary peace that disappears when your car breaks down or your boss sends a stressful email. This is a heavy, military-grade peace that stands like an armed guard over your heart and your mind. But you must actively partner with me to maintain it. Start planting the powerful, living seeds of my word deep into the rich soil of your daily meditation. Do not just read my promises and quickly forget them. Chew on them. Repeat them out loud when you are driving in your car. Speak them over your bathroom mirror. Your mind is the steering wheel of your entire life. Where your thoughts go, your daily reality will quickly follow. I'm inviting you to elevate your thinking. Stop dwelling on the dirt, the lack, and the frustrating delays. Start violently focusing your attention on my goodness, my massive power, and my endless grace. You have a completely sound mind. I gave it to you. Now I command you to use it as a powerful weapon to build your faith, rather than a heavy shovel to dig your own grave. Protect your peace fiercely today. My beloved child, I need you to stand up straight right now and look closely at who you truly are. I watch you walk through your daily life with your shoulders slumped, keeping your head down, apologizing for simply taking up space in the room. You act as if you are a completely unwanted guest in this world, hoping no one notices your flaws. You treat yourself like a desperate, exhausted slave, begging for temporary scraps of affection, a tiny raise at work, or a fleeting moment of approval from people who do not even know your real name. I am commanding you to instantly drop that heavy, pathetic posture of defeat. You are absolutely not a slave. You are a royal, chosen co-heir with Jesus Christ to the greatest kingdom that has ever existed. I want you to start actively claiming the massive spiritual inheritance that already belongs to you right now. You do not have to wait until you reach heaven to access my incredible riches. I have given you absolute authority over darkness. I have given you unshakable peace, divine health for your spirit, and overwhelming favor. But you are currently living like a billionaire who refuses to spend a single dime, choosing instead to dig through the trash for leftover food. Stop begging me for things I have already placed directly into your hands. I command you to start living as true royalty in a cold, harsh world that desperately tries to make you feel worthless. Walk into your workplace today with your head held high, not with arrogant human pride, but with the quiet, dangerous confidence of someone who knows exactly who their Father is. You must deeply understand the infinite riches of my glory that are constantly available for your daily use. When you feel a sudden wave of imposter syndrome, remember that your qualifications do not come from a university degree or a human title. They come directly from my heavenly throne. Walk with the immense dignity of one who was bought with an incredibly high price. I paid for your freedom with the precious, holy blood of my Son. Do not ever cheapen that ultimate sacrifice by agreeing with the enemy when he calls you a failure. Your name is forever written in the Lamb's Book of Life in permanent, unerasable ink. No mistake you make today, no financial ruin, and no human rejection can ever blot your name out of my family tree. I am inviting you to stop striving for an identity and simply rest in the one I already gave you. You belong at my table. You have a reserved seat of absolute honor. Act like it. Speak like it. Pray with the bold, unapologetic confidence of a deeply loved son or daughter who knows their father owns the entire universe. Step into your profound royal identity today and watch how the obstacles in front of you begin to bow to the authority you carry. I am calling you to drastically change the way you react to the intense, frustrating pressures of your ordinary days. I see how quickly you lose your temper when someone cuts you off in heavy traffic. I hear the sharp, impatient tone in your voice when your child asks the same question for the fourth time, or when your spouse forgets to do a simple chore. You are letting the minor irritations of this broken world steal the beautiful, supernatural fruit I am trying to grow inside of you. I am commanding you right now to allow my unconditional love to be the absolute, driving motivation behind every single action you take today. You cannot manufacture this kind of love on your own. You must draw it directly from my endless well. I want you to fiercely cultivate a profound joy that remains permanently fixed, regardless of your shifting, unpredictable circumstances. Worldly happiness is cheap. It completely disappears the second your car breaks down or your bank account drops. But my joy is a heavy anchor. You can laugh in the very middle of a severe financial crisis because you deeply know that I am your ultimate provider. I invite you to practice radical patience and unexpected kindness in a very hurried, extremely harsh world. When the cashier at the grocery store is moving incredibly slowly, do not sigh heavily and roll your eyes. Smile at them. Speak a word of warm encouragement. You have absolutely no idea what heavy, unseen burdens they are carrying. Be the exact breath of fresh air they desperately need. I require you to vividly demonstrate solid goodness and unwavering faithfulness in the extremely small, quiet things. Everyone wants to be faithful on a massive stage with a microphone, but I am closely watching how you handle the hidden, unglamorous tasks. Do you work with absolute integrity when your boss is not looking? Do you keep your small promises to your friends? This is where your true character is forged. Do not despise the hidden moments. I am using them to build a towering tree of righteousness in your life that will eventually provide cool shade for hundreds of hurting people. You must tap into the massive power of self-control as a brilliant, undeniable testimony of my Spirit's active work inside you. When you feel the hot urge to write a bitter, angry comment online, I command you to stop typing. When you want to eat or drink your heavy feelings instead of bringing them to me, I command you to put it down. Self-control is not a heavy prison. It is the ultimate freedom from the exhausting dictatorship of your own temporary emotions. Walk closely with my Spirit today. Let my character bleed through your ordinary actions, completely transforming your home, your workplace, and your entire community with the quiet, overwhelming power of my love. Listen to me very carefully right now. You are actively walking through a violent, invisible war zone, and you are acting as if you are on a casual, relaxing vacation. You wonder why you feel constantly drained, constantly irritated, and completely overwhelmed by sudden, unexplained sadness. I am telling you today that you are under direct spiritual attack. I see you fiercely fighting with your spouse, screaming at your children, and holding deep, bitter grudges against your coworkers. I command you to open your spiritual eyes right now. Your agonizing struggle is absolutely not against flesh and blood. That person irritating you is not your real enemy. They are simply a captive being used by the darkness to distract you. Stop swinging your sword at hurting people. I require you to actively, deliberately put on the full, heavy armor of God every single morning before your feet even touch the floor. You cannot survive the evil day relying on your own fragile willpower or your positive thinking. Take the heavy, solid belt of truth and wrap it tightly around your core to hold your completely shattered spiritual life together. When the enemy whispers that your marriage is hopeless, tighten the belt of my truth. Guard your incredibly vulnerable heart with the shining breastplate of my perfect righteousness. Your own good deeds are not strong enough to stop the enemy's arrows of shame and guilt. You must stand completely behind what I have already done for you. I command you to immediately take up the protective helmet of salvation to fiercely guard your mind and your ultimate destiny. The enemy desperately wants to infect your thoughts with deep depression, suicidal despair, and overwhelming panic. Keep the helmet securely strapped on. Remind yourself every single hour that you are fully saved, fully redeemed, and entirely safe in my hands. You are not a helpless victim waiting to be destroyed. You are an incredibly dangerous, heavily armed soldier in the army of the Most High God. Finally, you must aggressively draw the sharp, double-edged sword of the Spirit, which is my spoken word. Stop playing defense. Stop merely surviving the daily attacks. I command you to start actively repelling the enemy's advances by speaking my promises out loud into the empty air of your room. When fear enters your house, command it to leave in the mighty name of Jesus. When sickness tries to attach itself to your body, violently cut it down with the truth of my healing power. Stand your ground. Plant your feet firmly in the dirt. The enemy is absolutely terrified of a believer who finally realizes the massive, unstoppable authority they actually possess. Stand firm today and watch the darkness flee. You are fully armed, standing victorious on the battlefield, and because your life is open now, no weapon formed against you shall ever prosper. I am calling you to join me directly on the front lines and actively fund the mighty weapon of my truth to completely demolish the enemy's dark strongholds. Your generous giving is the blazing fire that launches this message like a flaming arrow into the cold, broken hearts of millions who are desperately fighting for their actual lives. Hear my voice speaking directly to you. Whoever brings blessing will be richly enriched, and whoever deeply waters others will themselves be perfectly watered by my own hand. The spiritual war for human souls is fiercely raging at this very second, and I need your immediate, bold partnership to rescue the wounded before they are lost forever. Because you bravely finance the rescue of my lost sheep, I decree a supernatural fortress of favor and exponential increase over your finances and your family. Take up your sword, send a super thanks, become a faithful member today, or release your vital donation through the PayPal link below immediately. My warrior, do not drop your sword and walk away now. You have come entirely too far, and your ultimate, massive victory is right within your grasp. To silence my voice at this exact, critical hour would be a tragic surrender to the darkness, and it grieves me deeply to see you give up right before the brilliant dawn breaks. Stay with me. Press into my presence with everything you have. The final, eternal seal of your triumph is about to be spoken. Do not leave. Keep listening. My precious child, I see you sitting alone in the dark, weeping bitterly over the dead, broken things in your life. You are mourning the painful end of a long relationship, the sudden loss of a career you loved, or the quiet death of a dream you held in your heart for decades. You feel like your life has been sealed in a cold, dark tomb, and a heavy stone has been rolled over the entrance. I am speaking directly to that grave right now. I command you to completely leave the smelly, restrictive grave clothes of your old life behind forever. Do not sit in the dark cemetery of your past failures anymore. Step out. I have already rolled the massive stone away. I want you to boldly walk in the vibrant, breathing newness of life that I have fully provided for you. I need you to grasp a mind-blowing, absolute reality today. The exact same, explosive, universe-shaking power that literally raised Jesus Christ from the dead is currently living directly inside of your chest. You are walking around feeling incredibly weak, helpless, and defeated, while carrying the ultimate, supreme power of life itself. I command you to activate that power today. Stop accepting defeat as your permanent address. If I can conquer the grave, I can absolutely resurrect your dead finances, your totally broken marriage, and your severely shattered mental health. You must completely overcome the paralyzing sting of death and the heavy, suffocating fear of the end. You are so terrified of losing things, losing your youth, losing your money, losing your loved ones. But when you live in the reality of the resurrection, you suddenly realize that death does not have the final, authoritative word. I want you to start seeing every single painful ending in your life not as a final period, but as a tiny, powerful seed for a massive new beginning. When one door slams shut violently in your face, do not stand there crying and banging on the wood. Turn around. The grave is completely empty. A new, glorious path is already opening up right behind you. I invite you to start aggressively celebrating the final victory I already won for you on the bloody cross. Do not wait for your circumstances to perfectly align before you start praising me. Praise me right now, right in the middle of the mess, because you know how the story completely ends. You do not fight for victory. You fight from a place of absolute, guaranteed victory. Take a deep, filling breath of fresh air today. The long, freezing winter is finally over. The glorious, warm spring of your resurrection life begins right now. Step out into the brilliant sun and live. Look at the deep, painful cracks in the world around you, my child. I see you scrolling through your phone, reading endless chains of hateful, toxic comments that leave you feeling sick to your stomach. I watch you sit at the family dinner table, feeling the thick, icy tension between relatives who have not spoken a kind word to each other in years. You see a broken, violently divided world, and you often feel completely helpless to change it. I am telling you today that you are not helpless. I have appointed you as a powerful, authorized ambassador of my peace to this angry, bleeding world. I command you to step into the incredibly vital ministry of reconciliation. Do not just sit on the sidelines and complain about the darkness. I am sending you directly into the middle of the mess with a brilliant, healing light. I want you to actively help other people find their way back to the warm, safe environment of the Father's house. There are people in your workplace, in your neighborhood, and in your own home who are completely lost in the dark. They are acting out in anger because they are secretly terrified and deeply wounded. I am asking you to model the exact same, outrageous forgiveness that you have so freely received from me. When someone completely misunderstands you, do not immediately strike back with sharp, defensive words. Pause. Take a deep breath. Respond with a startling, unexpected grace that completely disarms their anger. I command you to become a strong, reliable bridge of love over the massive, ugly gaps of hatred and misunderstanding. You must start seeing every single person through the clear, piercing eyes of their divine, eternal worth. Stop reducing people to their worst mistakes, their political opinions, or their annoying habits. The person who cuts you off in traffic, the coworker who constantly takes credit for your hard work, the family member who deeply rejected you. I created every single one of them. I love them with the same fierce, unending love that I have for you. I am asking you to be my hands and my feet in a world that is desperately hurting. When you see someone carrying a heavy physical or emotional load, do not just offer a quick, empty prayer and walk away. Stop your busy schedule. Look them directly in the eyes. Offer your actual hands to help them carry the weight. You carry the ultimate cure for the disease of hatred that is destroying the earth. My love, living actively inside of you, is the only force strong enough to melt a frozen, bitter heart. Speak life into dead relationships. Offer the first apology, even when you know you were right. Swallow your human pride and take the incredibly brave step of reaching out to the person who hurt you. As you bring peace to others, I promise you that my profound, unshakable peace will multiply rapidly inside your own heart. Become the peacemaker today, and watch how I use your simple obedience to heal the deep wounds of the world. I know how heavy the daily grind feels right now, my beloved. You wake up, you go to work, you pay your massive bills, you watch the terrifying evening news, and you go to sleep feeling a deep, aching exhaustion in your bones. You look at the sickness, the sudden violence, and the heartbreaking loss all around you, and your soul cries out, asking how much longer this dark night will last. I am commanding you to completely shift your focus today. Do not let the temporary shadows of this broken world convince you that the story is over. I want you to start living every single day with the electric, burning awareness that my triumphant return is closer now than it has ever been before. I am coming back to make all things perfectly right. Keep your spiritual lamp brightly trimmed and completely filled with the fresh oil of my spirit. You cannot afford to fall asleep right now. Do not let your heart grow numb to my voice. The world wants to put you in a deep, apathetic trance, constantly distracted by trivial entertainment and petty arguments. I command you to wake up. Stay fully alert. Spend quiet time with me every single morning so your spirit remains highly sensitive to my leading. But do not just sit on a mountain waiting for the sky to split open. I command you to fiercely occupy the earth. Do my vital work. Build strong families. Create beautiful art. Run businesses with absolute integrity. And relentlessly love your neighbors until the very second I return. I see the silent tears you cry when you lose someone you deeply love. I know the profound, agonizing grief that threatens to pull you under the dark water. I am inviting you to long deeply for the glorious day when I will personally wipe every single tear from your tired eyes. I am bringing a kingdom where cancer does not exist, where depression is completely forgotten, and where death is violently thrown into the fire forever. Let this incredible, guaranteed hope serve as a massive, heavy anchor for your fragile soul in the middle of your current storm. When the terrifying winds blow, this anchor will keep you securely fastened to the solid rock of my promises. I want to find you faithfully, fiercely doing my will when I finally return to claim my own. Do not give up when the finish line is right in front of you. The darkness might seem incredibly strong right now, but it is just the brief, desperate panic before the brilliant sunrise. Keep your head held high. Walk with absolute, unshakable confidence. You belong to the conquering King of the universe. Live today with a joyful, vibrant expectancy. Treat every interaction as an opportunity to plant a seed for eternity. The King is coming, and he is bringing your ultimate, complete victory with him. Hold the line, my child. The magnificent morning is almost here. We are reaching the end of this conversation, my precious child. But our real journey together is just beginning in a brand new way. I have poured profound truth into your heart today, and now I am giving you my final, clear instructions for the difficult, youthful road that lies ahead. I command you to keep your eyes firmly, aggressively fixed on Jesus, the brilliant author and the perfect finisher of your fragile faith. When you look at the terrifying storm around you, you will instantly sink into panic. When you look at your own flaws, you will completely drown in heavy shame. You must force your attention back to me every single hour of the day. I am the only solid thing in a world that is constantly shifting. I am strongly warning you right now. You not grow weary in doing good. You have been planting good seeds of love, hard work, and deep patience for a very long time, and you are incredibly frustrated because you have not seen the harvest yet. You feel like throwing in the towel. I command you to keep planting. The harvest is absolutely sure, and it is coming at the exact right moment. Do not quit right before the massive breakthrough happens. Remember that your earthly life is just a brief, passing vapor. It goes by so incredibly fast. Stop wasting your precious, limited hours on things that will burn up and blow away. Make your short life count for eternity. Invest heavily in the people around you. I require you to stay completely, beautifully humble under my mighty hand. The world tells you to promote yourself, to step on others to get ahead, and to fiercely demand your own way. I'm telling you that the way up in my kingdom is always down. Serve the people you lead. Wash the feet of the people who annoy you. When you choose profound humility, I promise that I will personally lift you up to heights you could never reach on your own. I command you to love me with absolutely all of your heart, all of your soul, all of your mind, and all of your physical strength. Do not give me the leftover scraps of your affection. Make me the burning center of your entire universe. Finally, I want you to deeply, undeniably trust that I am constantly working all things together for your absolute good. Even the terrible mistakes you made, even the painful betrayals you suffered, even the confusing delays that break your heart. I am the master weaver, and I am taking the dark, ugly threads of your pain and weaving them into a breathtaking, beautiful masterpiece. Trust my unseen hands. Follow my quiet voice. Step out into the world today with a fierce, bold courage, knowing that you are fully equipped, totally forgiven, and deeply loved for the journey ahead. My deeply beloved child, hear my final words to you today and let them sink into the very marrow of your bones. I am placing the final, permanent seal of my ultimate approval directly over your life. You do not have to spend another exhausting second trying to earn my love or prove your worth to me. You already have all of me. I am commanding you to completely rest in the finished, perfect work of grace that I have already accomplished. Take off the heavy, agonizing backpack of your past regrets, your current anxieties, and your desperate striving. Drop it at my feet right now and refuse to ever pick it up again. I am inviting you to step forward out of this quiet moment and back into your loud, demanding life with the absolute assurance of my eternal presence. You are not walking back into your stressful job alone. You are not walking back into your messy family situation alone. I am going before you to make the crooked places straight, and I am standing right behind you to fiercely guard your back. I want you to know with absolute, unshakable certainty that the best, most beautiful part of your life starts right now, in this exact moment, with me. Your past is totally forgiven, and your future is completely secure in my strong hands. Carry my brilliant, warming light directly into the darkest corners of the earth you inhabit. When you walk into a tense room, let my profound peace completely change the atmosphere. When you speak to a hurting, desperate person, let my fierce love flow out of your mouth. You are my chosen vessel, and you carry the ultimate hope of the world directly inside your chest. Do not be afraid of the darkness. The darkness is absolutely terrified of the magnificent light that you carry. Shine brightly, live boldly, and love extravagantly. I leave you with this final, unbreakable promise. My deep, supernatural peace I give to you. I do not give it to you as the fragile world gives. Let not your heart be troubled, and do not let it be afraid. We are eternally bound together. Nothing in the heavens, nothing on the earth, and nothing in hell can ever sever you from my love. Keep walking with me hand in hand, step by step. I will guide you all the way home, and the glorious promise remains that we shall absolutely dwell together in the beautiful house of the Lord forever. Go in peace, my child. You are fiercely, eternally loved. The heavy doors of your past are permanently shattered. Your magnificent life is brilliantly open now, and you carry my eternal light directly inside your chest. I have filled your cup to overflowing, and I am now asking you to deliberately pour it out so the entire broken world can finally taste my goodness. Your financial seed is a rushing river of living water that will violently wash away the crushing despair of millions who are actively dying of spiritual thirst. I declare over you today, honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your produce, and I will burst your barns open with unprecedented, massive plenty. The harvest of souls is incredibly ripe, but the true laborers are few, making your immediate action a critical rescue mission orchestrated directly by heaven. Step out in radical, fearless generosity, and I will permanently open the floodgates of heaven, pouring out a blessing so massive you will not have room enough to store it. Seal this divine encounter right now by clicking the super thanks, joining as a dedicated member, or planting your sacrificial seed through the PayPal link in the description. Amen.